What's poppin', everybody, and welcome back to another great episode of Hoopin' with Mike and Brian. I am Mike Mohey, and he is.
Brian McQuillan, good to be back. Welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody. And today we talking hoops again, man. We back on this, man. We're back on this. This is the second episode. I mean, we had a little bit of a behind the scenes type of, mix up. We're not in the same studio together right now.
I miss you already, Michael.
What happened?
I miss you already, man. I miss you already.
I miss you too, man. I miss you too. But hey, man, it's good to be able to still talk about this, still do this next episode, and even with our little thing that's been going behind the scenes, man, still be able to do this, and this is awesome. So hey, man, the world of technology, man, isn't it great?
For sure, man. I just want to say one thing. Make sure you show some love to our content editor, Andre DeBagian. Follow @FilmsByAD on Instagram. Also, follow our IG, hoopin.mb. Follow our Twitter, hoopin_MB, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Hoopin with Mike and Brian. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And of course, hey, shout out to my guy Dre, man.
There's so much behind the scenes, man. I can't thank him enough.
Yes.
Does a lot for this stuff. He might be featured. A little surprise, a little heads up. He might be featured on one of the upcoming episodes, so stay tuned with that. We can't thank him enough for everything he does for our little podcast here, and we're truly blessed for everything he does. Make sure you give him love on IG.
Yes, sir. And hey, man, let's get into this. Whole thing. But hey, man, tonight we only have 3 games tonight. Nothing too crazy. I believe right now we have the Portland Trailblazers and the Nets playing at the moment. We have the Kings, Spurs, and we got the Pistons and Clippers. I heard Kawhi
is playing tonight.
Man.
It's good. It's good for my fantasy team. But yeah, he's playing. He's got 6 minutes. In 6 minutes, he's got 2 points. I mean, obviously they're, going to do the same thing they've been doing all year, load management, which, I get he's coming off that knee injury or whatever it was. But, I think the Clippers at 100% they can make some noise coming up, and especially in the playoffs. I think they're going to really be a team that, you don't want to play 7 games with.
Oh, of course. And hey, man, before we get into the games tonight, let's talk about, what's been happening in the week, because, we haven't been back in the studio for, now we're not in the studio, but we haven't been talking since last week. But hey, man, some moves happened, in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. The Jazz are not number 1 anymore, unfortunately. They moved down to number 4. The Trailblazers, hey, man, they're number 1 now in the West.
They got 3 scorers over 20 points per game. Impressive.
They do?
Yeah, I believe. Wow. Obviously Dame, Anthony Simons, and I think Jeremy Grant's right above that too.
Oh, I'm not shocked about the Anthony Simons and Damian Lillard.
Jeremy Grant's having a sneaky good season.
Hey, I like that. I like Jeremy Grant. I feel like the Pistons, when he was back on the Pistons, they weren't utilizing him the right way.
He played in OKC too, I believe.
He did. Yes, he did for a little bit. He did.
And then, yeah, obviously the Suns are up there. Suns with all this stuff going behind the scenes. We don't know everything that's going on there. So the Suns are still up there. The Nuggets. I mean, the Jazz are still, 4 now? The Pelicans, my pick to make the Western Conference Finals, sitting at 9 and 6 as the 5 seed. So the West is good, man. The West is really good.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, right now, we got the Suns at number 2, Denver Nuggets at 3, Jazz at the 4. Pelicans at 5, Grizzlies at 6, Mavericks at 7, and the Kings at 8. The Kings, man.
Andre told me before they went on this win streak. Shout out Andre, of course. He told me be careful with the Kings, and they're on that 4-game win streak. They put up 153, I think, to get against the Nets. So the Kings, man, you got to give them love. The 1 year, they're not very, they're not the most competitive team usually. I mean, they play hard, but they're not usually they're not really a playoff team, is what I'm trying to go out here.
But I mean, even when you look at them, man, I feel like they have a good roster. They have a roster full of hoopers, man. I feel like they have some guys
similar to the Jazz, just the guys who have chips on their shoulders.
True.
Fox, obviously Fox a bonus, but they got Herter. They got
Velvet
Davis, who just dropped 31. Red Velvet, yeah. They got a solid group. I like Davion Mitchell. I saw him playing college when he was at Baylor, but. King's got a solid little core going over there.
Yeah, no, he had a good game the other day.
Yeah, he defends. Like 20... That guy defends.
Oh yeah, dude's aggressive
for sure.
I love it.
And then, I love it. Yeah. But, as you know, you got it.
No. I mean, hey, man, I watched a couple games that they played the last couple days, man, and they just feel more like a just a team together. Like a lot
For
of guys
sure.
are just being able, more confident, to be able to just take their shot, not try to settle or
Exactly.
anything. Like, I mean, they have some good pickups. Like, especially they picked up, picked up Trey Lyles, I believe. Unless
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
on their team
Mhm.
last year, but I know Trey Lyles was on the. I forgot what team he was on last year.
Was he on? Oh, was either on I think he might have been on Denver.
Was he
I
okay?
could be wrong, but he was in Denver. They also have Harrison Barnes and Keegan Murray. Barnes has been, I think, at this point, you're getting from Barnes.
Yeah.
Um, Barnes, and then Keegan Murray, obviously, probably he's top 5 rookie for sure this year. So it's things are
Mhm.
interested in Sacramento for sure.
Oh yeah, no, and then I mean, their two main guys is how I feel this way. If unless you want to say different,
Uh-huh.
but definitely De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis are like their main two guys
Oh,
for
100%. No,
sure.
yeah. For Fox reminds me of John Wall, a lot of John Wall.
Oh, I
Gets in
know, man.
transition, runs the floor. I mean, his
Yeah.
shooting from three isn't, the greatest, but when you're that fast,
Hey, but he's confident with it.
he's
Hey, the
confident.
the game winner he had against the Magic last week, man, was crazy. Shot
Yeah.
from the
Oh,
logo was confident, just stroked it, man. It
yeah.
was beautiful, man. It was beautiful, but
Uh,
it was good, man. It was good.
I think because they gave up, I think that them trading Halliburton, I think that kind of shows how much they believe in Darren Fox. I mean, honestly, I would have loved to see how that Fox Halliburton backcourt, would be in the future, 5 years from
Sure.
now. But I think that shows how much, Sacramento believes in Darren Fox.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely, most definitely. I mean, definitely right now looking at it, the Kings are actually right now on a 4-game winning streak right now. I
And they beat good
believe.
teams. They have beaten well
Oh,
teams that if
yeah,
you told me before the season, like they beat the Cavs, who the Cavs are pretty solid this year. The
true,
Lakers,
true.
I mean the Lakers are bad, but before the season,
All
nobody
the
thought they
hype.
were bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, they beat the Warriors and the Nets. So those are
yeah,
three teams that most people probably thought were going to be pretty solid this year.
yeah. We're gonna definitely have to get into that little situation right now. It's crazy to think. I saw this thing on Twitter. It's crazy to think that LeBron, Curry, and KD right now are on teams that are playing below 400 ball, below
Yeah,
500 ball, and it's just sad to see that right now. Like
it's sad.
it's
Yeah,
sad.
but they're
It's
all. I
really
mean,
sad.
I think LeBron's been hurt or whatever he has going on there. But I mean, to be fair, Curry and KD, respectively, are balling out. You know what I mean? Like
Oh
they're
yeah, most
both
definitely.
Curry had what I think a 50 ball the other night. Um,
Yeah. I think he had a 50 ball again last night and they still lost.
what's your opinion on Clay? Like, if you're the Warriors, what do you think they do with Clay?
Here's my take on Clay. Especially I think last night it was, I'm gonna look back at the game right now, but my opinion on Clay, man, is he's just one of those guys that he's got riddled with, especially with his injury, is a
Yeah,
very bad injury. And I just feel bad, man. Yeah, no, I'm looking back at the game. They lost to the Suns, man. And I mean, I think the last time they played was when they had that whole when Klay Thompson was getting all in their face and
yeah, and
that
he
stuff
got
like that.
ejected.
And he got ejected. So, and I feel like now the way the game is played, now we talk a lot about like these guys talking trash and stuff. It's like they were trying to get back in his head during the game. Like Mikal Bridges hit this three in the corner and had
Oh,
his
I saw
hand out
that.
right in front of Clay. Like it's like I forgot what day specifically he did, but I don't know if it was this past week or last weekend where Klay Thompson came out talking about how like Charles Barkley said something about hey I think Klay Thompson stinks now because of his injuries, and Klay
Yeah,
Thompson comes out saying, oh well, duh, like pretty much kind of like not solidifying, but pretty much like agreeing
he's
with the
yeah,
fact that he's not performing well. He's probably not going to be as good as he was before because he's hurt. And
yeah,
I feel like with that vulnerability being out there, guys like especially dudes like Patrick Beverly or like Grand Theft Alvarado, they're gonna get in your face and talk. Oh yeah, you
100%.
stink now. Like you're not good anymore. Like I could just do whatever. And I mean, he doesn't look good. I also saw some clips about like other like how like early in the Lakers season, like when it was like the first 5 games of the season, they were talking about like how Russ was taking some shots and you'd
Yeah,
see LeBron and AD react. It was literally just last game, I believe, that Jordan Poole and Draymond had like a reaction where they were just like, whoa, what's Clay doing? Why did he just take that shot? Whoa, why didn't we slow it down? Like it was funny because the first one, you see Jordan Poole like in the corner wing, like what the heck? What was
and
that?
then Curry too. I saw a clip of like it was back back-to-back possessions Clay took, like they weren't. They weren't terrible shots, but they're just if you're not shooting well, those are just not the shots you can take. I was thinking I have a weird feeling that the Warriors are going to make a move this season. I think they're gonna. I don't
Mm.
know who they're gonna trade. I don't know who would take Clay. I don't know, but I do have a feeling that they're gonna make a big move coming up. I just have I don't know. I think if Curry's playing this well and you're still not winning,
Mm-hmm.
I also think I think as much as the Warriors try to hide it, I still think that Jordan Poole, I think that's taken a toll. It just doesn't look like the same Golden State Warriors team. And to be fair,
No.
I said it on the sports page last night, but they did lose Gary Payton. They lost Otto Porter. They lost just solid role players, so that does not help. But I just it's just not that same Warriors team. It's like it just like last year I feel like teams feared them. I just don't think teams fear them anymore.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. I mean, it's definitely like it's a sad thing to see how they're performing and then be like, I mean, they didn't lose a lot. Like, yeah,
No,
they may have lost like those couple guys, but you would think, all right, they have still Jordan Poole, Moses Moody, James Wiseman, guys that would probably
yeah,
most likely maybe come off the bench, even guys like Kevin Looney, who's a veteran on their team,
yeah,
and still be like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? Why are we not performing and stuff? So it's kind of a little bit of a bummer, but I mean, they got to put it together because I mean, the way they're playing now is, I'm not gonna say it's a joke. It just looks like how they were before when they got that draft pick of
yeah,
James Wiseman that season before, where they just looked garbage. You had Curry doing everything in all his might, which was beautiful to watch because it's like, wow, we're seeing like a different kind of Curry, but we're watching it again and they are not doing good
they're
again.
not doing it. Yeah,
So it's a little bit bad. I'm not even saying a little bit bad, but it's just bad. And hopefully, long season still, so a good long season. Hopefully they could turn it around. But I
yeah,
think I also have a weird feeling that they could also make moves.
mhm.
Definitely, especially at this point, if this consistency of play happens, I feel like they'll definitely make a move. And hey, man, we might see those little trade talks that they used to have even when they were doing playoff runs about Clay
Yeah,
going to like the Lakers or something. So we might
yeah,
see some crazy stuff like that, but who knows?
yeah,
Who knows?
exactly. So, yeah, going off that though, I definitely agree. I mean, it's interesting to see because if you're going to tell me before the season that the Lakers, the Nets, and the Warriors are going to be like this bad so far, I would have been like, "There's no way." But it's a long season. I think if any of those three teams figure it out, it's going to be the Warriors. I don't see them, you know, being. I don't see them not making the playoffs. Like they're going to make the playoffs. I think come playoff time, they'll be ready to go. They just got to figure it out.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely, most definitely. And you know, we just hope the best. I mean, I feel like both of us both agree that, even with teams like this that like we would love to watch and things like that, and like even players like Curry, Thompson, and even guys
Mhm.
like Poole, we hope the best for them. We hope they could turn it around. But we're also realists at the point where we're just like, if you're not performing, man, and it's
Yeah,
consistently, it's like you got to make a change. Like
got
something
to make
has
a
to make a
change.
change because, especially if you're coming off of a NBA finals, I'm not saying it's easy because there's a lot of people that talk about going back to back that it's hard to do that. I
Yeah.
mean, I was very lucky and spoiled with that with the Miami Heat that they went back to back and everything, but it's not easy, man. It's
Doesn't
really
happen.
not. It's not. I mean, even guys like Shaq talk about going back to back and everything, and it's not easy. People
Yeah.
think it's easy because you're winning, you're on top, but it's definitely not because
No.
you have the biggest target on your back, and
Yeah.
everyone's
And
gonna want to like beat you.
you have to perform every single time. Like, because anytime the Warriors like lose, it's not every time. Most of the time, it's like surprising. You see the Warriors losing to the Kings and all these teams. Um, but yeah, so that's my take on that. I definitely agree with what you're saying though.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely. I mean, we just hope the best, and we'll see what happens. But I mean, hey, man, I just hopefully they could turn it around, see what happens, and definitely make changes. But another thing, I wanted to talk about some surprising teams doing well. I guess I was reading this article and it was talking about like four teams that are having pretty, surprising, like really unexpected strong starts to the season. Right now, I mean, obviously the number one team probably for sure is the Jazz. And we kind of already know talk about that, but the Spurs are doing pretty good. Spurs are doing pretty well
Spurs,
for their
yes.
time, and they don't really have anybody on this team. I mean, I feel like the only person we really know on that team is what, Keldon Johnson.
Keldon Johnson. I mean, yeah, because they got like Jakob Pertl, they got Devin Vassell, they got some names. I mean, they have Trey Jones too, I believe. Trey Jones was last time I heard of him was when he was at Duke. But yeah, I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due. They're definitely doing a lot better than people thought. I mean, right now, I thought they were on a bit of a skid, right? Yeah, right now they're sitting
Yeah,
at
they
6-9.
lost two in a row, but I believe they won a couple
Yeah.
games in a row, and people are like, that's
Hey, they're better than
interesting.
the Lakers, though.
They
I mean?
definitely are. They definitely are, and
Which isn't saying much, but
yeah, that's true. That's true. But I mean, definitely for sure. I feel like the Spurs. This is how I look at always the Spurs. They're almost to me. They're almost like the New England Patriots in football.
Yeah.
They have a great coach that he's gonna give a game plan that is pretty much like is gonna be able to compete with any team. It's just at that point, it's more of just kind of like the players at that point, like who's gonna be able to do everything, and I like their team. I mean, it's really young. I believe the oldest person on that team, really experience-wise, is Dougie McBuckets.
Oh, Doug McDermott. Wow.
Yeah, Dougie McBuckets and actually Gorgie Dang, but I haven't really seen him play.
He's been in the league for a while. He played. Yeah. I remember he played for Minnesota. Oh yeah, he went to Louisville too, I believe. Yeah, I haven't heard that name in a while. But hey, credit to the Spurs, man. Everyone thought they were going to tank for Wembanyama, which again, it's early. They still can do that. Because I think I said that on the sports page again last night. Hey, make sure you tune in U92 every Wednesday night, sports page 8 to 10, right at West Virginia University. But as I was saying, I kind of forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, but about what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, make sure you check out the sports page.
I don't know for sure. I mean, definitely them. I mean, we can move on from them because I mean it's kind of like a typical, like they don't really have a lot, and we probably don't expect them to really do anymore. But I would definitely say, like, if they were to keep going and maybe win games, like we'll probably talk about them, probably talk about certain players that are doing that for them. But I mean, it's kind of expected in a way for them to do good because of the fact that they have Greg Popovich at the helm.
Yeah, that reminds me. I do remember what I was going to say. The one thing I was just going to say is, obviously we saw this with the year Zion won in the draft, but it's how it works is the worst 3 teams in the league all have like a 14% chance of getting the first pick. So it's like you get, even if you're the absolute worst, if you have one win the entire season, you're still not guaranteed that first pick. So I think, it's no guarantee they get the first pick. So I think teams look. I don't see a world where the Spurs make even the play in. I really don't. But it's interesting to see how teams are taking on, because obviously everyone thought like teams like the Spurs, Jazz, Rockets, Magic were gonna, tank for Wembanyama. But yeah, as you're saying, I definitely agree with all that.
Oh no, of course. But I mean, the other two teams. I want to get into this one team, but this last final team that I'm gonna talk about, we're gonna talk about this last team for a little bit because this team is special. But the first team I want to talk about is the Indiana Pacers. Man, the Pacers have been playing pretty well ball, man, and I like the players that they have on their team. I really enjoy the guys that they have on that team. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton, they have some Miles Turner. They have
been going crazy.
Oh, that's my. I'm sorry. Back home to Orlando Magic, but
you think Mathurin takes home Rookie of the Year?
The way he plays, I just like that confidence, man.
He comes off the bench too, right?
He comes off the bench. This man has a chance to win Rookie of the Year and Sixth Man of the Year, and I don't know when that's ever happened or if it's been done.
Hey, Russell Westbrook's taking home that award. Come on, that's my boy.
I know that's your boy, but Benedict, man, dude is.
And also, if Paolo's not playing, obviously he's injured. I hope he gets back soon. But Mathurin's he's quietly balling. It's like I don't think he's getting enough attention. But I do agree. I think Indiana's interesting because a lot of people thought that I even said. I don't know if you remember, but when we were talking on Sports Page, I did not. People were saying the Pacers were going to be one of the worst teams in the league. I genuinely did not think that. I think Halliburton's one of the most underrated players in the league. He does everything on the floor, really. Rebounds, runs the floor, gets his teammates involved and score. And then I just don't know. The only thing I'm interested to see is what happens with Miles Turner and Buddy Hield with the trade talks. But I feel like they've been in trade talks the last 3 years. So. As I said, Indiana, again, got to give credit to these teams that are going exceeding expectations already. It's again, early season. They got to keep this up, 82 games. but I totally agree. I think Indiana's, a quiet team. They could possibly sneak into a play-in or playoff or whatever.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, definitely with their team, man. They're right now at 6 in the East. I mean, it's the East, and I don't know. I don't want to put any shame in the East because I'm a Heat fan, but I mean, they're 6 in the East. They've won the last 2 games. They're 6-4 in the last 10. Home games are 4-3. Road, they're 3-3. So I mean, they're holding their own. Like they're doing good at home. Like they have a positive record at home. They have a pretty much, I wouldn't say positive record, it's just neutral on the road. So I mean, definitely for a team that is expected or people don't think of them as good, they're still doing it. Like they're winning games away from home and everything. And I think it's a good thing. So I like this team, especially with what they have. But I definitely would say pay attention to around trade deadline because they still have those guys that people were talking about. Oh, Miles Turner, Buddy Hield, that could possibly be traded at trade deadline. So
100%.
we'll definitely see. All right. So, I mean, definitely with what we talked about the Pacers, I think we pretty much summed up what we talked about with them. Hey, this fourth team, man, that I talked about, the Oklahoma City Thunder, a team that after we saw some things about Chet Holmgren not going to be able to play for the season, a lot of people were writing them off already. And there's one guy in particular that's saying, do not write us off. Do not.
When I tell you this guy, like, okay, it goes without saying, obviously we're talking about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Let's get that out of the way. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Dude, I have not been more impressed from look, he was fantastic last year, but like the jump is through the roof. It's like I was watching him play. Look, I don't want to talk about it. He's playing the New York Knicks, but like I was in awe. Same way, I got to give credit to Josh Giddey. He put a triple double up against us. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I mean, averaging 32 a game, and he hit that game winner. I think he had 42, 47, some ridiculous amount of points last night or whatever it was. But I am actually in awe watching him play. He's so smooth, gets to the rim, can shoot the three, gets his teammates involved. And the thing I respect most about the Thunder is like his teammates know they're playing through Shai, so they get him the ball and they just kind of work off him. And it's interesting to see. And I think that backcourt, Josh Giddey, they're very unselfish. And I said it to you when we were talking about hoops the other day, but I think the Thunder, my take is I think the Thunder make the play and I think they can make noise in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. I want to bring up this stat because this is what drives me insane. Because the only player to ever do this, like I'm gonna say the stat line after this saying, the only player to ever have a stat line like this was unanimous MVP Steph. Players averaging 30 points per game on 50, 40, 90% splits. This man is performing well for this team and just winning games for this team. Like I watched him, and this guy is just I love Shai. I've really enjoyed watching Shai over the last couple of years play for the Thunder. An absolute perform, man. Like the dude, what's crazy is he's able to facilitate for everybody. He's on the defensive end, he's nasty. I believe I don't know particularly his defensive stats. I don't know if
he was top 10 in blocks, though. I don't know if as of last week, he was top 10 in blocks, I believe. Or it might have been steal. I want to say it was blocks, but it's like he does everything on the court, and he's not afraid of the moment. Like I saw him take that game-winning shot. I knew he was going in before it went in. I don't want to sound like LeBron, where I feel like I predict everything, but like, you could see that he is a dog, and I like to see that people are taking note of it because he was good last year. Obviously not doing what he's doing now, and they're sitting at 7-8. But in the West right now, it's up for grabs. It's like all you kind of need is a chance in the playoffs, and anything can really happen. So shout out to Shai. He's honestly one of the most. He might be the most fun person I've watched this season alone. I'm in awe watching that guy play.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Right now, he is top 3 in scoring, and I was right. He is top 5 right now in steals per game.
Where is he ranked in blocks? I thought I saw a stat he was. I could be completely wrong.
I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he's
averaging 1.4 blocks. So regardless, that's pretty solid.
Oh yeah, he's top 15 for a guard. Top 15.
Yeah, 15.
I mean, the only other guard that I see on this stat, I see Jason Tatum at 14. Yeah, there's not really a lot of other guards right now. He's top. He's
Wait,
top
Tatum's classified
50.
as a guard?
No, I want to say a guard. I have it just put up. I have it put up where it's just all the whole NBA
Oh,
blocks
okay.
per game. But I mean, the only other guy really you have Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant plays the
He's
4,
7 feet tall too.
7 feet tall. But you have Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He's number 12 in the league right now as a guard. Like that's nuts, man. And
That's
I
crazy.
love that, man. He is like almost the epitome of just being a two-way player.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I was
he's
gonna
gonna be able
say.
to do it on the offensive end, and then he's gonna be able to do it on the defensive end. And it's absolutely beautiful because then he's also your closer. Your
What doesn't he
closer.
do? Honestly, he's as close to as a complete player as you can be. Like that's what I love about him. You
Mhm.
see a lot of guys who put up 30 a game who, let's be honest, don't put as much effort defensively. Which, to be fair,
Yeah,
you're putting up 30 points a game. Kudos to you. But that
true.
it's the entire, just when you just go, like, for the people out there, just watch one game. He's everywhere on the floor. Plays hard. He
Everywhere.
can score at all 3 levels. He defends. It's like he's in Oklahoma City, smaller market team, so he's not going to get as much attention. But like, if he was doing this in like New York, LA, Chicago, Miami, like that's all people would be talking about. But like, to be
Mhm.
fair, like the guy's averaging 32 a game, and he's efficient too, which is more impressive.
Yeah, no, he's an absolute stud, man, and I
And
love watching. I'm trying to pull up right now his last couple games because I think like in the last 2-3 games, I think he's averaging like
he had
30 something
yeah, he had
points.
42, 6 and 7 last night. And then another name I just wanted to quickly shout out was Lou Dort. He was undrafted, I believe.
Yeah,
Great two-way player, can shoot the ball, and I like how he kind of, obviously he knows his role, but he's pretty good at it. You know what I mean? He can shoot the
oh, yeah.
three, defend. Like, it's just I love watching these young teams play that have role players who are willing to take on that role, because you see teams where like teams with the Lakers where players aren't very fine with their role. So it translates to wins. As I said the last episode, you got to have role players to win in this league. It's more important than having the star power. Obviously, you need stars to win,
Mm.
but I'd rather have guys 1 through 12 who all are perfect one role. You know what I mean? As opposed to having a bunch of stars throw them on the court and hope to win.
Oh, of course. I mean, and I definitely feel like we're seeing that this year. Like in the NBA, I feel like we're seeing a lot of teams that don't have a lot of superstars and they're winning. Like they're
Yeah.
able to just keep going. And we're hearing different names like every other night about like some guy just going off. Like another team I would like to talk about after, just talk about the Thunder. I mean, props to the Thunder, man. They're doing
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, they're 11th in the league right in the West right now, but they're on, nice little 1-game winning streak. They're in their last 10, they're 5-5. Home, they're 4-3. So I mean, it looks like the road is just a little bit hard. They're 3-5 right
Mhm.
now, but they've gone in overtime already twice and then 1-1. They split those games 1-1. So I feel like if they keep going, they can have this team, man. And with a team like this with Shea, man, just think about next year
Yeah.
with Chet and all of them. Like, what if they make the playoffs and Chet is doing such good rehab where Chet comes back in the playoffs? Like, I'm not saying Chet is going to make that type of difference so fast because he'd still be a rookie, but like,
Yeah.
it's crazy to look forward, like look good going forward, and it's amazing, man. And I love watching Shea. I mean, Shea is definitely for me. I'm gonna talk about him a little bit later when we do our little first quarter things, but yeah, no, Shea's an absolute stud, man, and I just hope OKC could keep going out because I do like that name drop, Lou Dortz. I do like guys that are
Lou
just
Dort.
defensive, like they do their thing, like
Did
they.
mhm.
No,
And
keep go ahead, man. I'm
oh no,
talking too
yeah,
much.
I know you're bringing up a point, which I just wanted to say this before I forget, because it's on top of my mind. Not to steer away from anything we're talking about, but one guy I just really wanted to talk about. I was watching the game. I was watching when the Raptors they played Detroit.
Mhm.
I had a couple notes from that game, but Delano Banton. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Out of the
I don't want to hear about the Raptors. They just beat my
I
Heat yesterday.
I know, but I just wanted to say this before he really blows up, but he's like a 6'7" guard. It reminds me a
Mhm.
lot of LaMelo. I think he's 6'7" guard. He plays really slowly, kind of like he's really smooth. He doesn't look like he's even playing hard. He plays hard, but it looks like he does not. Just the way he plays. But I didn't even know who he was prior to this game. But I was just watching. He dropped like 27, and like I think he had like 5 and 4 or something. And I was just seeing that it was just so smooth at that size, and he was just getting to the rim, shooting threes. I just wanted to drop that in because I knew I'd forget. But as you were saying from before, though.
No. I mean, that's a good little name drop because I mean the Raptors are doing pretty well right now in the East. So I mean they just
Siakam's
beat
killing it.
Siakam's killing. I mean OG just dropped 32 against us yesterday. The Heat.
OG, one of the
So
most underrated players in the league as well.
most underrated man. He's leading the. I believe he's leading the league right now
Steals
in steals.
tons of
So
crazy. Yeah.
he's doing ridiculous things, and I mean just like what I said before. I mean we're seeing teams this year, not with a lot of players that were like, oh, they're all stars. Like maybe now how they're performing right now, where we could be like, oh, they could be an all star this year because how they're
Yeah.
performing now. But ahead of the season, we weren't like, oh, OG Anunoby is going to be a beast. I mean, maybe Pascal Siakam for sure, but we weren't like, oh, Fred VanVleet. We weren't thinking Delano,
And
Banton,
that's what,
Banton.
yeah. I'm just gonna say that I think that shows like the league is in good hands. Like obviously
Yeah.
players we grew up watching when we were younger, with the Westbrooks, the CP3s, LeBrons, all those guys.
Mm-hmm.
There are times it hurts, but there are times limited at this point. You know what you're getting at these guys. So these young players are killing it, and it's so fun to watch.
Oh, of course. It's great to watch because I mean, even like that comparison that you gave to Long Patton, it's not, and I don't want to act like I'm like talking over you or anything.
No,
I feel like to me, it's not that the fact that they're playing slow, they're just playing comfortable. Like they're
yeah,
not trying to play, they're not trying to appeal to their defender, and they're not trying to appeal to the defense. Like they're just playing their game and doing what they want to do. And it's beautiful. I love when players can do that. That's why I loved I loved it when people were hating on him. But when LaMelo Ball was coming into the league, man, like he just was playing his game. You're not
yeah.
gonna stop his tempo. He's gonna go fast when he needs to. He's gonna slow it down. He's gonna find people. He's gonna find his shot. Like it's
And
amazing, man.
if he turns it over or he misses a shot, that does not discourage him at all. Like he keeps going
They
at you.
don't. Yeah, he
And you got to
does.
respect that. Again, if you have 15 turnovers on the row, then maybe stop it. I just like how that's what I love about like most NBA players. Their mentalities are so strong. Like yeah, you have you miss a couple of shots, but their whole mentality is like the next one's going in, and that's what I like about the rookies though. They're coming in like Mathurin. Like who would have thought? Like no, look, he was I think he was the 6th or 7th pick, so obviously had high expectations. But like they're just coming in playing their game. It's like it's mind blowing to me because you don't see this a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, I think the young players are really like the league is in good hands, as I said before.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely, most definitely. I feel like the league is definitely in good hands, and it's awesome. I mean, just even segue into it that we talked about LaMelo. I mean, man, he plays so hard, but sometimes you play too hard and you get injured again right after
Yeah,
coming
I
up.
saw that.
He sprains his ankle badly. I'm reading the article right now where the X-rays came back and the ankle was negative, so
Yeah,
nothing too bad. But man, you re-injure the ankle right
he
after
hurt
you
on a
come back.
fan, right? I think I saw some video. I think I thought like he like twisted his ankle, like stepped on a fan's foot or something like that. I could be wrong. It
No,
happened
he
a couple
did.
times.
I'm looking at the thing right now. What happened was he tipped the ball, like it was against the Pacers, and like man was being aggressive. Like this is what I love about these young guys. These guys are so aggressive all over the court, and I don't know what happened. I believe it was like a turnover or something, and he was just trying to be aggressive to get the ball back, and he tips the ball and he goes after it,
Yeah,
and he goes and he bumps right into the people that are sitting right there at court side and just twists his ankle real bad, and I'm sitting there and I'm just like. Dang, man, you just
that
came off of your debut was against the Miami Heat. You scored 15. That's fine. Like, it's your debut game. You had an ankle injury. That's fine. You could play. But then, he's playing good, doing things good for the team. I think he scored like 20 the next game or something. I
yeah
forgot what he did the next game, but like, it's like he comes back and now you're back on the injury. He misses the game. He's going to miss the game against the Cavs. And
yeah
dang, man, it's just like, please. Like, the reason why I'm so like, talking about this is because this type of stuff, if it's injury after injury and it's like you come back and you're trying to be aggressive and stuff,
yeah.
this is the type of stuff that happens to players like Klay Thompson. This is the stuff that happens to players like even back in the day, you had players like Brandon Roy,
Mm-hmm.
you had D Rose. Like, I don't want this to keep happening. These guys are playing so hard, they're playing well, and it's just like,
That reminds me. That wants to yeah. That I wanted to talk about this as well. Um, Kind of going off your point where players playing really hard and stuff. So I want to talk about Jaden Ivey for a little bit.
oh yeah, yeah.
Definitely impressed by him. Again, I was watching when the Raptors Pistons game when we talked about Banton before.
Mhm.
Ivy, the one thing I like about Ivy, he's aggressive, goes to the rim, but in the second half, he went to the rim. There was 4 different instances where he got blocked 4 times going to the rim. Again, I love the aggression, love getting to the rim, but it's like again, he's a rookie, so he's gonna make these mistakes. But like I saw him get blocked 4 separate times, like the span of like 8 minutes. And I just think he's a little bit out of control. I think he kind of has to let the game come to him because he's going to get to the rim plenty. And he
Oh,
took
of
a
course.
couple wild threes, which I love the confidence, the aggression. A rookie coming in the league, top 5 pick. But I just think he needs to kind of let the game come to him. And when I was watching him play, I did think a little bit of Russell Westbrook, like in the sense of the athleticism,
Yeah.
willingness to get to the rim. So that
He's
was another thing.
fast. He is
Fast.
fast.
That's just the one
Quick.
thing I was like this. I think he's I was a guard, playing back in my day, but my dad would always tell me, he's like, if you're a point guard, you got to be on the verge of out of control. That means don't go be out of control, but you got to push the
Yeah,
pace. You got to set the tone. You cannot
yeah,
be
of
out of control.
course.
I think he was a little bit all over the place, but he still put
Yeah.
up 20 something points. He was still really impressive. But I think if he just like tones it down a little bit in the sense of like, okay, I got blocked twice. Let's try something new. Um, you know what I mean? So, but that was just one thing I took away from that. But Ivy definitely impressed me a lot.
Oh, of course.
And you said it last episode, but like the Pistons were a team. I like that backcourt of Kate Cunningham and Ivy. They have Sadiq Bey. Bagley's been, he's been, getting better a little bit, but that was
Yeah.
just one player who I really enjoyed watching play. But I just
Mhm.
think he has to like tone it down a little bit, just until he gets a little bit stronger, a little bit more like poise around the rim. But yeah, no, for sure. I definitely gonna keep my eye on Jaden Ivey. I like what's going on in Detroit.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, for sure. Me too. I mean, they were one of my teams even when we were on Sports Night before we even made this podcast. I was even talking about how the Pistons are a team to watch. Like they're probably
Yeah,
not going to do well because they just have not I'm not going to say a lot of nobodies. It's just they're not the team right now where they could be winning a lot of games. But I mean, they have a lot of these young, exciting players: Sadiq Bey,
I know
Jaden
you like Duran. You're
Ivey.
high on Duran. I like that.
I was really high on Durham because I mean, just like how I love guys like Lou Dort and guys like even now with the Pelicans, Jose Alvarado, Grant
That was
Alvarado,
yeah.
these guys like they pride on defense. I mean, you like to bring back your time, and you're right. As a point guard, and I'm not gonna talk like I'm some point guard messiah or anything. I know I played because I was short, but I love being able to facilitate, be able to set the offense. You feel in that role where you feel like you have the power because you're like, okay, I gotta set my guys up and everything. But it's a beautiful thing because you're able to set your guys up, be able to facilitate, but also be able to have the ball in your hands and be like, all right, I'm gonna drive. Like a lot of guys that I used to look up growing up was like Rashawn Rondo.
Oh yeah,
Rondo,
Rajon
where he was
Rondo.
very inside out. Like I'm gonna strike, but then I'm gonna dish it out to my 3-point shooter, or you know what? All right, I'm gonna roll with my guy. I'm gonna get the big man to come at me, and then I'm gonna dish it off to my big man. So, but to go back on Jaden Ivey, man, I believe the Pistons have been 0-4 since Cade Cunningham went down, but
Yeah.
Jaden Ivey was doing well. Like he notched his first 20-point game, and then after that against Boston, he got 26, and then followed it by 21 against Toronto. He had 8 assists and 4 rebounds. Where even in the fourth quarter, it was a close game. They had to put Scotty Barnes on him because he was just going off. So I love Jaden Ivey. I love this Detroit Pistons team. And, I know they're not going to do well. A lot of these teams, just like the Pistons and, just like the Rockets and, even like the Magic, going back home,
Yeah.
Orlando, these young guys, they're so fun to watch because it's like they're all playing. It's not that they're not all playing together. It's just, it's great to see that. Like you see these young
Yeah.
guys doing well, and you just know how they're going to evolve if they keep up with that consistency. And I mean, even the Pistons coach Dwayne Casey even talked about. He said his speed was the difference of getting into the paint and creating things for other people. Like, especially if he is scary fast. Like the fact that you compared him to Russell Westbrook, like in his prime, he was super fast. But even when I think about it, his speed almost reminds me of Prime D Rose.
Oh,
Like where
100. Yeah.
he is just fast. Like his first step when he cuts, it's just like a blur, and it's like, dang, this dude is, whoa, what's going on? Like this dude's fast, and he could score lights out if he wants to, and I think it's great. I think it's great. Looking forward
Yeah.
for the Pistons, and I just hope they can maybe piece it together, maybe make a little run for the East. I mean, the East is always they're always saying the East,
Yeah. And with the
the
plan, anyone can get that 10th spot.
Exactly. Especially now. And I like that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I genuinely like the play-in tournament.
Mhm.
I like it because it gives some of these teams, and maybe they don't deserve it. And I get people say, the argument is they don't maybe deserve it because they didn't have a good record in the season
Yeah.
or they weren't good, or even the fact that they were, in the least, I think
Yeah.
Skip Bayless calls it the least conference, you know,
Yeah,
like,
I understand that. I'm kind of neutral with the plan. Like I see both sides. The only reason I was a
Mhm,
little critical of it because last year the Cavs had that, spectacular season where like, they weren't a top three. They were the 7th seed and they ended up losing in the plan. I'm like,
mhm,
it kind of stinks seeing like they have that really impressive season, then it kind of gets shut down because they, played Trey Young in the plan.
mhm.
But like that was just the one thing I was like, I don't want to say it's unfair because at the end of the day, everyone has an equal chance of the plan. As a 7th seed, all you have to do is win one game. But
Mhm.
it's interesting to see because it gives teams that are like the bottom of the barrel of the Eastern Conference, Western Conference to still compete for something as they get into that final spot. Because again, when it's one game, when I was watching the plan last year, it gave me like Game 7 vibes. Like it was season on the line. You know what I mean? So it's fun to watch when a lot is on the line, especially for the teams that aren't on top of their conference.
Oh yeah, no, of course, of course. It's great to see, but I mean, after all of it, even going into just whatever, we just hope, especially with the playing and stuff, these teams have these chances. Like we hope to see, like, because what it feels like to them, and this is why I'm a very more player guy. Like I want it for the players, like that whole different shift they make going into the play-in or going into the playoffs. Like we see different guys perform differently when they get to the playoffs, whether they're,
Yeah,
on a bad team, they're the eighth seed, they're the first seed. It doesn't matter. Like that shift, like we get to see these guys where we're like, oh, well, where was this in the regular season? But it's better because it's just like, okay, I can maybe perform not mediocre, but I can maybe keep it steady in the regular season. But once playoff comes around, I'm turning it on. Why do you
yeah,
think I'm lucky to say I got one of those guys on the Heat. I got Jimmy Butler on our team where, there's playoff Jimmy where he goes in the playoffs and he freaking kills it throughout the
yeah,
whole playoffs. And I love that, especially for my team. But like guys like that, especially when they know, all right, we have a chance to go to the playoffs and you're 9-10, like who's not going to
yeah.
want to perform well and get into the playoffs? Like, it's
Exactly.
awesome. But I mean, going back, let's talk about the games tonight, man. Right now, we got it's going into the fourth quarter. We got Trailblazers up by 1 to the Nets is 90-91. We
Uh-huh.
got Durant has 27 points with 7 rebounds and 3 assists. We have Damian Lillard with 19 points. Not as much as, as we're used to, but he's got 10 assists. So he's had a nice little double-double going on right now.
Mhm.
So definitely tune in if you're able to watch that game. We also have, oh my, oh, the Kings. I know it's against the
Again,
Spurs, but the Kings 104-87 in the
gotta
fourth
give Fox his
quarter.
love, man. Gotta give Fox his love. Bro's
I
killing
love
it
this.
here.
I love this, man. He's got 24-7 right now. He's doing well. I love it, man. I
That
love that
reminds
they're
me.
doing well.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say. So I remember watching Fox in college when he was at Kentucky with Malik Monk and that team that they ended up losing when
They're
Luke
back
May hit.
together. They're back
Yeah, they're
together.
back together. They like they lost that game against when Luke May hit that corner shot
Oh my
in the tournament.
lord.
But I remember watching that because that's when Lonzo and Darren Fox were both they were going at it. They play each other in the tournament. Kentucky obviously beat them, and then
Mhm.
I remember LeVar Ball and Darren Fox's father were beefing. But I thought that just seeing Darren Fox like ball out because you're in Sacramento, you don't get as much press as Kentucky basketball. I feel like in the respective sports, I'm saying, but
Yeah.
it's fun to see Darren Fox and the Kings in general, kind of like be somewhat decent because they haven't been in the playoffs in I don't even know how many years.
Mhm.
But again, got to give credit where credit's due. The Kings, it's leaving me speechless, man. Take it from here, Michael.
No, I mean, even from there, I mean, it's great. I mean, I think I talked about it before, man, in the first episode, man. My dad was military, so I was very lucky to see the world, but I got to live in Northern California and see the early stages of the Sacramento Kings, and
Yeah,
it was kind of hard to watch, man. Like they had their old arena, or I believe it was Arco Arena. I remember going to watch the games there, and I got to see good players, great players, go and play, but they weren't that great. And now to see them doing well and this young
Exactly.
core that they have, it's amazing. Almost brings a tear to my eye. And this is not even my favorite team, but it's awesome.
This just kind of goes hand in hand with this, but so kind of like a backstory kind of. So every year when there's an NBA draft, me and my dad, we watch it, whatever. But we always have like one guy. We each pick like one guy who we think's gonna be the just be the one who we think has the best career. It's not always the guy who's the first pick. And I remember his guy was Darren Fox. So every time I see Darren Fox fall out, it reminds me of that. I'm like, he was right on that one.
Oh yeah, I like Darren Fox. I liked him. I loved watching his high school highlights. Man, dude was like a monster.
It was defensively though. That's what I was impressed. Like you're not scoring a bucket on that guy, especially in high school. And even now he's still a great defender. But like he would get like steal after steal and dunk. I'm like,
and it was crazy because he was also that guy that just had that crazy speed, and he could take off. Like he could run like 100 miles per hour, stop on a dime, take off with a windmill. Yeah. And I'm just like, yo, this dude could be something, and he is, and it's awesome to see him, man. Nice little lefty,
and he's developing that shot more as his
career's going on. And that's dangerous. I think that's dangerous, especially if you shoot from the logo for game winners, man, and confident with it.
It's not fair at that point, but you got to give credit to Fox. It stinks. You don't see the players balling out in smaller markets get as much love. It's like, again, I've said this before, but like it's like the Lakers, which kind of irks me, is like the Lakers get more attention. Obviously, LeBron's, I get it, whatever, but they get more attention when they're bad than the Kings do when they're having their best start in like 20 years. You know what I mean? So it's like,
of course,
gotta give credit. I'm glad we're giving them love on this podcast, though. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. I feel like we're giving love to a lot of teams that aren't right now performing the best, but it's because we acknowledge like the guys that are killing it on their team and just trying to give it their all and trying to impress. But moving on from there, we hopefully the Kings could finish it out. Still 95-110 in that game. Still 7 minutes left. Right now we are in quarter 3 though in this next game. Detroit against the Clippers. And Detroit's actually up 53-47. Their leading scorer right now though is Bojan. He has 17. He's only 1 for 2 from 3, so it looks like he's getting his buckets right now. Just being able to shoot. He has 4 for 5 from the free throw line, so he's shooting 80. And Jaden Ivey has 9 points right now, and I believe that's the only second. Yeah, that's our only second, because another person that's scoring the same is Sadiq Bey with 9. Then they have Jalen Duren with 8. That's 8 rebounds. I like that. He's doing well for their team. I mean, I see right now Killian Hayes has 3 steals. So I guess
Killian Hayes might be the worst player in the NBA. I was watching the Detroit game. It's like every shot he shoots looks like it's going to be an air ball, and it's just like every year I feel like, again, obviously he doesn't get. If he was doing this in New York, he'd be getting it. But
well, he's 0 for 5 right now. He hasn't even
Killian
made a
Hayes,
shot.
Look, honestly, like I'm like I could be playing in the NBA. No, I'm kidding. But he's bad. He was like the 9th pick, I believe. And it's like, I get it. You want to give more of a chance if you're Detroit. You did a high draft pick on him, but it's like he is bad. I'm telling you. I was watching that whatever. I watched the Pistons a couple times this year, but times I've watched him play, I'm like, I don't know if he knows what he's doing on the basketball court. And I don't want, and no disrespect at all. I'm just telling you what I see.
Yeah, I mean it is pretty bad, and it stinks. I don't like how he's performing. I mean, right now it just updated again. He's 0 for 6 right now. Like he's not even shooting that well.
He hasn't shot well all year, all his career, and it's like, if you're Detroit, I'm like, what can you do? You can't put the ball in the hoop for the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
I mean, what do you even do moving forward? Like you can't even trade that.
Yeah, like
because no one's gonna want that.
I'm looking at I mean, he's shooting 36% from the field, 26% from 3 on the year. Oh no, that's in his career. I'm sorry. But it's like, it's just this year alone, he's shooting less than 31% from the field, 24% from 3. I don't know. I don't know how many more chances you can give the guy when he's shooting like that. I mean, as a point guard, you got to be shooting a little bit better than that.
I'm not gonna lie to him. I think the only reason why he's playing right now is because Corey Joseph is hurt.
Yeah, he's usually the backup guard.
So like at that point, and Cade's hurt. So like,
but that's if you're Killian Hayes, you gotta think like, this is my chance to prove it. And if you're not doing it, you know what I mean? It's like,
well, he's not. That's the
not
thing.
Doing it exactly.
He's not. So I mean, I don't know. We're not gonna try to, wish some negative things on some guys.
Nah.
But this guy is not performing well.
Not performing well.
At
First,
all,
a 7th overall pick. You know what I mean? So it's like,
That's crazy. That's crazy that you keep saying that. He was a seventh
Seventh
overall
overall.
pick.
Yeah.
And he hasn't
He
done
was.
anything. Like I literally forgot about this guy. Like when I
Yeah.
saw when they brought up again when they were talking about the Pistons this year, I was like Killian Hayes. I was like, who is that? I was like, who was that guy again? And
Seventh
then
overall pick from 2020. That's who he is.
yeah, that's nuts, man.
I
That's
just,
nuts.
yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's that.
I guess we move on. Let's not keep talking about
Yeah,
this negative,
more of a
hope
positive vibe in here. You feel me?
little let's bring the positive vibes. So I mean, those are the only three games going on today. Hopefully, we hope, so it looks like it's a good game right now with Brooklyn and Portland. The Kings look like they're winning big. Hopefully they don't
Yeah.
lose that little comeback. And they're still Detroit and the Clippers are still in the third quarter. So we'll see where it happens with them at the end of the night. But moving forward into the weekend, man, you have any games, anything you
Yeah.
circling? What do we got?
I had there was yeah, so this weekend the one game that I'm quietly interested in. Like it's, I mean it's pretty, popular. It'll be a popular game, whatever, but the T-Wolves Sixers, I think that's going to be an interesting matchup. I believe they play Saturday. I'm interested to see Embiid. Obviously Embiid and Cat, we've seen their beef. I'm interested to see how that defense works against a big center like Embiid. I think Harden's out of the walking boot. I don't know if he's playing. That's one game I look at. I'm also looking at the Heat and Cavs. Your Miami Heat against the Cavs, obviously. But I think it's interesting to see. There's that trade talk of Hero going for Donovan Mitchell. Now he's going to get a chance to go at him.
Yeah.
And then obviously Bucks Sixers another game. I
Mm.
believe it's Friday night. Which I'm interested. Giannis and B go at it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a couple other games I noticed. The Thunder Grizzlies that'll be tuned in. But what do you got for me, Michael?
For me, I mean, what game I like the most right now is I like to see this little matchup happening Friday night, 8 p.m. I believe who's the home. I could let me load it in. Let me see who's home. But it's in Memphis. The Thunder against the Grizzlies.
I had that one here as
Shea
well. Not Ja.
versus
Yeah.
Ja. I have to tune
Now
into for
is that
that.
Saturday night?
No, it's Friday night, so it's
Friday
tomorrow.
night. Yeah,
So
I'm
pretty
there.
much today because it's midnight. We're shooting this a little late,
Yeah,
but
on a grind here. On a grind.
we are all definitely on a grind. We are definitely on a grind. I would definitely also say right after. No, it's not even after the game. It's literally 30 minutes after tip off for the Thunder Grizzlies is the Nuggets and Mavericks play. So we get to see some Doncic and we get to see some good Western Conference. Hopefully Doncic is playing and Jokic. So we'll hopefully see some of that.
Yep.
The other game I saw, what was I believe it was Saturday. Saturday, yes, Saturday. I like this because they're both. I believe they're in the same. I think they're right next to each other in the standings. Is the Raptors and Hawks.
Raptors Hawks.
Raptors Hawks.
That'll be a good one. I think the Raptors are a little slept on this year. I don't think we're getting they're not getting enough attention.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's a good matchup. As you know, I was high on the DeJounte Murray and Trae Young backcourt. That trade that went down. I was interested to see how that works out. I was high on that. So yeah, no, that's definitely a game I'll be tuned in. Especially with the guard play. If I think Van Vliet should be back. I know he's out for a while. I don't know if he's back yet, but I think that'll be an interesting matchup as well. I definitely agree with that.
Oh no, most definitely. I mean, I feel like that's about it for the weekend. I mean, there's other teams that are playing that could probably be good games, but I believe especially record wise, there's not a lot at the moment. But I mean, moving forward, man. Let's update the people on our teams, man. How do you feel about your Knicks right now?
Good about the team, bad about some individuals. I'll tell you that. That's the best way to phrase it. So we're sitting at, we got. Oh, I will say we got that big win against Denver last night.
You did.
Obviously, Joker didn't play, so that's a big help. But a couple notes I'd just like to say is, I backed up RJ Barrett for a while. I'm really getting impatient with it. Let me just read this off to the people out here. He has not shot well all this year. He scored, but he also takes a lot of shots. So he's had about 6 or 7 games where he shot 3 for 18, 7 for 19, 9 for 21, 5 for 14, 2 for 10, and 5 for 18. And then last night I was watching the game. I think he was sick, whatever. That's not an excuse. If you're playing, you're playing. But he was 4 for 18 and 0 for 9 from 3. And look, I'm not a huge numbers guy. I don't believe numbers tell it all. But I was watching him play. He goes to the rim. He gets to the rim, but if there's any contact, he just misses it, and it's very frustrating. Pay him that contract. I'm seeing players like Morant, Shea, all those guys, whatever, Zion, take these big leaps. RJ, in my eyes, hasn't improved much over the last couple of years. So RJ, I'm not very high on, especially this year. I think he's been bad this year. I think he's gotta pick it up. Like New Yorkers are not going to be happy with that. But we're 8-7. Last time we talked, we were 5-5. We're 8-7 now, so a little bit better, over 500. And then the one thing I wanted to know was when I was watching the game last night, we were losing in the fourth by 9, and then the 5 who were on the court were Cam Reddish, Julius Randle, Emmanuel Quickly, Jalen Brunson, and Obi Toppin. And I was high on Cam Reddish out of the draft when he got drafted by the Hawks. But Cam Reddish, I think we have to play him a lot more. He's been starting the last couple of games, but he scores the ball well. He facilitates the ball. He reminds me of a mini Paul George kind of. Don't get me wrong. He's not on Paul George's level. I see flashes of Paul George in his game, and I got to give it to Randall. Randall had 30 something last night and 10 boards, and he played hard. Again, I was critical of Randall, but Randall's been picking it up the last couple of games. So I actually am pleased. Julius Randle played very hard last night. There was one play where it was like a 2-on-1, and he had Jalen Brunson wide open and just like looked at him and passed it away and then threw it out. I like just threw the ball away, whatever. That was frustrating. But other than that, I don't want to get nitpicky here and get on a guy for having one bad play, but that just frustrated me a little bit. And then I got to give credit to Emmanuel Quickly. I don't know if you saw, but when we were up by 3 with the last couple of seconds remaining. Obviously, Jamal Murray had the ball, and Emmanuel Quickly clamped him. Could not play any better defense, and he missed a shot. But yeah, so and then obviously besides last night, Cam Reddish put up the 2 games prior to that, he put up 19 and 16, shooting 45% from 3, which I thought was really impressive.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter people are calling for him to play more minutes.
Yeah, I will say this is the one thing I want to say. I think the Knicks have to play more of Jericho Sims, Emmanuel Quickly, Cam Reddish, who's been starting, has been playing more, and definitely Obi Top. I think Obi Top, I love Obi Top, and he scores the ball efficiently. His jump shot has improved so much. He has like that New York mentality. He plays hard. He plays with swagger. I love it. And then the one thing I was also confused about was why Tibbs took Quentin Grimes out of the rotation. Again, I'm critical on Coach Tibbs. I don't want to sound like I'm completely negative towards the Knicks. There's just some stuff I don't understand. But other than that, 8-7. Pretty solid, better than 5-5. But yeah, those are my takeaways from the Knicks. I think we're on the road trip. I think we're Golden State tomorrow, then we go into Phoenix, then we got like Sacramento. So we're on this road trip, but we're starting off 2-0. We beat Utah the other night, which I thought was impressive. Yeah. We were down most of the game, came back in the fourth quarter. Jalen Brunson has been very impressive this year. But I the last 2 games he makes tough shots. He has this like little fadeaway he does. His footwork's superb. I love his footwork. Yeah, but Brunson, I've been high on. The only one who's really been who's been frustrating me is definitely RJ Barrett. But other than that, 8-7, I think we can still make a run for the playoffs. But those are my takeaways from the Knicks so far. Again, I know it's pretty critical of it, but that's kind of how New York fans are. But I got to give a shout out to those guys who've been stepping up. Those younger players who don't have it, who aren't having as much as a role as I think they should. But those are my takeaways. Michael, I'll let you take them there.
Well, you guys are 8-7, right?
8-7.
Well, flip that, and you're the Miami Heat. I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm not gonna talk a lot right now. I mean, we've had Bam didn't play last night. He had a knee injury. Victor Oladipo hasn't came back. Our new signing Orlando Robinson hasn't played yet. It's hard to say right now. I can't really talk a lot about that. It's not even the fact that I'll take some positives out of it. We started Nikolai Jovic, our rookie that we drafted, who I had high hopes for, and he did well yesterday. He only had 13. He was doing really good, efficiently coming off of pick and rolls. He started at center for us, so it was kind of like it was a good sight to see. But we're not winning games, man, and that's the reason why I don't want to really talk a lot about them, because I mean, we're not winning games. And it's not even the fact that we're not performing well. It's just like I feel like it's still like we don't have enough. Tyler Hero didn't play.
Yeah.
And sure. It's not that it's not looking good. It's just there needs to be more. I need more, man. I need more. I need more games to come in to really pick from this team. I mean, there's guys that aren't performing well, but then it's like the next game they perform very, very well. I mean, that's why I'm not gonna say it's hard to be a Heat fan, but it's almost just like some guys, you can't sleep on them too much. Like a lot of people, every time they talk to me, when they talk about the Heat, they're like, "Oh, when are you guys gonna trade Kyle Lowry?" Trust me, I've said some negative things about Kyle Lowry, but like the man performs sometimes. I mean, even last night he had 19, Max Strus. I love my guy. I hope he never gets traded. Man had a nice little
He's a better
highlight.
Duncan Robinson, honestly. That's what I think of him. He's like a better Duncan Robinson.
That's very, very true. I mean, that's the only person that could really maybe say anything negative about. Not Max Strus. Hopefully, people don't confuse that. But Duncan Robinson, man, like he played 14 minutes and had 0 points. And all you're doing is shooting the ball.
Threes. How many shots did he take?
He only took 2 shots. So 2 shots, one of them for 3. He's literally running there for laps. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Heat right now, man. I mean, just to kind of just talk about positive things about the night. I mean, Max Strus had a nice little highlight dunk, on some people yesterday. Guys are playing well. I mean, everyone's really scoring. Like Gabe Vincent came off the bench, played 32 minutes, had 16. Kyle Lowry had 19. Max Strus had 20. Nikolai Jovic had 13. Jimmy had 13. Caleb Martin had 14. I mean, our offense is like everyone kind of get into it. Like everyone's scoring and stuff like that. But I mean, we're still not winning games, so I don't know what it is on the defensive end. I saw a tweet that talked about we're right now on one-on-one possessions. So it seems like man to man, like guys that are supposed to be guarding the guys, we're letting up like 1.04 points. Like I forgot the like specific stat, but it's like second most in the league.
That's a problem.
And it's a problem, man. Like we're supposed to be a defensive team, and guys aren't playing their best, and it's kind of sad to see. I mean, we don't have our main guys coming in, especially when we don't have Bam. A lot of people are probably just like, oh, free points in the paint, especially like Nikolai Jovic. I mean, nothing against him. He's a rookie. He plays his hardest, but you're not going to, like, if you're probably more afraid of going to the hoop when you're going up against Bam than Nikolai Jovic.
Yeah.
So people are definitely like, all right, Bam's out. Okay. Free will at the paint. Go at it. No one's not going to guard you. You're going to be perfectly fine. So, I mean, I hope we could turn around still.
Hey, we're both going through it together, man.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I mean, you guys are performing well. I'm glad y'all are doing your thing. You guys are playing above 500 for the Knicks, man. It's good to see that. I know you have your one player. I have our one player on our team that's not doing well.
They're both big parts of the team. Like that's what's frustrating. If RJ is playing better, we're 8-7 and arguably a top, 2-3. People will argue that he's a top 2 player on the team, and he's bad this year. And if he picks it up, I think we're a pretty solid team. We got decent depth, but I guess time will tell.
Yeah, no, for sure, man, for sure. But time will tell definitely for the Heat. I mean, we're always a team that we do this a lot in the beginning of the season because we're still trying to piece puzzles and stuff like that. But we'll see what happens. I know Eric Spoelstra. I mean, that's what I really love about our team is that we have Eric Spoelstra, man, one of the best coaches.
Yeah,
in the NBA.
I think he's a top 3 coach in the league. That's what I think.
Most definitely. I would say the same thing, but I don't want to be a homer and be like, oh, I think.
I hate the Heat, so if I'm saying it, I mean
it. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, man. Oh, yeah, I don't know for sure. I know there's no disrespect. I know between us, it's always going to be, it's always going to be that rivalry, that bad blood. But we're definitely not disrespecting each other team. I think it's more the fact that we have that is because we have so much respect for each other.
For sure,
we're both teams, especially with the history behind our teams. We were always going back at it.
You guys would always beat us.
Hey, I mean, I wouldn't even say back when y'all had Hewing and stuff. Yeah, we weren't beating y'all then.
Yeah, but we got 0 rings, so it doesn't matter. But no, shout out to Patrick Ewing.
Shout out to Pat,
one of the best Knick of all time.
True. But hey, man, let's get into a little bit of fun, man. Let's we wanted to talk about teams are coming around the first quarter, man. There's 4 quarters in a game, so I wanted to talk about the first quarter, our first quarter thoughts and predictions. So, if you want to go ahead, man, what do you see right now in the first quarter? Who do you feel like right now with the playoff predictions? If we had to give me some playoff predictions right now in the first quarter, who do you got?
Well, I'm gonna stay. I still stick by my prediction. I think the Pelicans still make the Western Conference Finals. Look, hot take. That's my take for the year. I'm sticking by it until
that's a pretty fiery take right there.
Yeah, I've been saying it. I said it, before the season started. I'm gonna stick with it until they give me a reason not to believe it. But he's been I'm a huge Zion fan if he stays healthy, but he's been up and down this year in terms of that because they tend to rest him a lot, which
Mm.
I understand, but he's also young. But whatever. I think the Pelicans really they're the team I think makes the Western Conference Finals. That's my hot take for the season. I do think the Warriors figured out. I another prediction. I said this, but I think that the East runs through Milwaukee. I think Boston can make a run for it. I think Sixers maybe. Hopefully the Heat. Your Heat figured out. But in terms of that, I think the East is run by Milwaukee, and the West is really up for grabs. I think the Grizzlies finish out on top regular season wise. I think they'll be the number one seed. When the season ends.
Mm.
But yeah, in terms of, I also think Dallas is a scary team when come playoff time. Obviously, you have Luka, you
Mm.
have guys like that, and then same. I think the Clippers too as well with their fully healthy. Assuming Kawhi is going to be fully healthy come playoff time, with
Mm.
obviously John Wall, Reggie Jackson, Paul George, all those guys. But let me hear from you. What do you got so far?
So I'm gonna go two top six teams right now in both conferences because I think I talked about this with you before,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah,
like with the plan and everything. So right now, who I feel like in the playoffs, especially on the Western side, I think it's the Trailblazers. Won't be in the plan. The Suns won't be in the plan. The let me see. I say the Grizzlies are another team that won't have to matter about playoffs. I say if it catches up to them,
yeah,
because right now they're number 4 and no one really expected this, I say the Mavericks will probably take where the Jazz are. I'm not gonna say standing wise, but I feel like the Jazz, if it catches up to them, hopefully they can stay maintaining it right now
yeah.
and stuff like that, even though they've lost 3 straight right now, but they were number 1 in the NBA for a little bit.
Yeah.
I say the Mavericks take their spot and being able to, and then I say the Pelicans. So that's 6 teams
Okay.
right there that I feel like I'm really confident that they'll make
Yeah.
the playoffs and they won't have to be in the play-in. On the back end, I won't even talk about the back end because a lot of that's up for grabs right now in the West,
Yeah.
especially with the Kings, Clippers, Timberwolves, and even the Thunder if they can
Thunder,
maintain it. But I also have confidence in the Warriors that they'll kind of come back into it, maybe, have some life,
yeah.
come back to life and they can take probably a spot. But definitely on the East, my 6 teams, I mean, I would probably no, I mean, I say these are the 6 teams right now that I feel are confident that will make the playoffs and they won't be in the play. That's the Celtics, the
Yeah.
Bucks,
Hmm.
the Hawks, the
Hmm.
Cavs. I'll say the Raptors as well, but I'm gonna bring this because right now they're just 7-7. But I'll say the Sixers. I say the Sixers bring it
Okay.
back and they'll be the six. I don't know about being 6 seed exactly, but I feel like they'll be one of the
Yeah.
6 teams that make it into the playoffs and won't have to worry about playing
Hmm.
and stuff like that. Because when it comes to the play-in and everything, a lot of the teams right now, especially the teams right now that would be in the play-in, I mean, it'd be your Knicks, the
Yeah.
Wizards, the Sixers, and the Heat. But I feel like once the season goes on, I feel like the Sixers will win games. The Pacers,
Yeah.
will kind of maybe dwindle. I'm not gonna say they're gonna skid and be horrible or anything, but these are just predictions. So I would think maybe something catches up with the Pacers and they kind of lose a couple games, go on a little bit of a losing streak, being the team that they are, or the team that people expect them to be. I'm not saying they're gonna be bad, but
Yeah.
they'll maybe slip into the play-in. But I feel like right there, those 12 teams respectively in their conferences won't have to worry about
Yeah.
being in a play-in.
I will say I have my list here. Honestly, our lists are very similar, ironically. And for the people out there, we didn't meet up and be like, oh, we have like these top 6 teams. Let's have the same. Like these are just what we think.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of I'll start with the East because you were just talking about that. But the East, very similar. I think Milwaukee, Boston, the Sixers, Cavs. I actually have Miami. I think Miami will. I think they'll figure it out. And then I have the Hawks too. But I
At
want to
least
put.
you have hope.
Yeah, I do have hope. I think they'll figure it out. I put a star around the Raptors. I think they're that outside team looking in. I
Oh yeah,
wanted to put them top 6, but I just don't think they're better than any of those 6 teams. I don't think throughout the course of the season. I don't think they're going to be better than the Heat or Hawks.
it's
I
fair.
just that's what I think. And then obviously I'm looking at I think the Nets. Another hot. I think the Nets again. I'm very critical of the Nets, but I think the Nets. obviously they're going to make the plan. I think they get they get the 8 seed, and I think they can. They're not going to beat Milwaukee or Boston if that's the teams they go against, but I think that they'll make that
Hmm.
series interesting. Obviously, just with Katie and Kyrie alone, and hopefully Simmons improves by then.
Of
So
course.
that's I think the Nets have a shot, depending on what seed they finish. If they're the 7 or 8 seed, they're not going to get it past the first round. But if they're matched up with Cleveland as the 3 seed, I think they could that would be an interesting series to keep your eye on. And then looking
True.
at the West was this one took me a while just looking at it. There's so many teams, but I think my top 6 teams right now, I got to go Memphis, the Clippers. I think the Clippers will be a top 6 seed. If Kawhi's healthy, I think they're a top 6 seed.
Hmm.
Dallas, Denver, the Pelicans, who I've been very high on, and I think the Warriors will get into that 6 seed. I think they get there.
Mm.
So the outside teams looking in will be the Suns, the Blazers, and Hermie put the Jazz this low. I just don't know if they can keep this up. And I think some teams will start to figure it out. And I
Mm.
said it earlier in the show. I think Oklahoma City Thunder make the play-in this year, and that leaves the Timberwolves out, which that was hard for me to do. But I think there's just too much going on in Minnesota, and the West is too good. Like you can't have off the court problems in the West and expect to win. There's just too many good teams. It's really competitive. And I wanted to say, we've been very critical of the Lakers. I don't think they're a good team at all. But I
No.
think if LeBron comes back, 100% wherever he is, and I think there's a chance they figure it out and can sneak into that 10 seed. As of now, have them outside looking in of that. Have them as a 12 seed right now.
Mm.
But also with Sacramento playing the way they're at right now, they can also take that 10 seed. But I don't want people to, overreact. It's only been however many, like 14, 15 games, so it's early. You know what I mean? So it's been a quarter. So and when we do this again in halfway through the season, it's gonna look a lot different. So those are my takeaways. Again, I think the Rockets and the Spurs will finish at the bottom. But the West, I think there's 13 teams that can really compete for that plan.
There you go. Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. For sure. No, I like that. I like that. I like how we both had same thing, man. We both on the same wavelength.
Yeah,
Why do you think
I
we
I,
on this
I want to
pod together,
disagree
man?
with you. I want to disagree with you about it's just hard, man. We're just thinking alike, man. You know what I mean? But hey,
Hey, man, great
great
minds
minds
think
think
alike,
alike.
man. Yeah,
Hey, we
exactly,
really are. But
exactly.
yeah, I was surprised I gave more love to the Heat than you did. But hey, I respect that there's no bias here. I I I think they're a lot closer to the top than people may think they are because they'll figure it out. They got enough veterans on that team, and
Of
you
course.
know you know Jimmy playoff time. Jimmy turns it up a notch. So.
I love it. I love it, man. I'm very, very spoiled by that. But hey, man, let's get into get into the awards, man. Who do you think right now could be the MVP of the league?
My pick, my preseason pick was Ja before the season started, but right
Fair, fair.
that was before like anything, so that was just what I thought. But I
Hmm.
got to give it to Luca, man. I got to give it to Luca. I just think the Mavericks, as I said this last show, they have the perfect team around Luca putting up.
Hmm.
I don't know what his average is right now exactly, but at one point he was averaging 35, 36 a game. I think right behind him though is going to be Jason Tatum. Obviously
Mm.
Giannis will be up there. Those guys will be up there, but I got to give it to Luca. As of right now, that's my guy. I think is gets MVP. What's your feeling on that, Michael? Who are you seeing as MVP?
So you gave it to Luca, but you said two other names. Your preseason, my preseason pick was Ja, a hundred
Okay,
percent.
yeah, that was my
I
pick.
love Ja, and I'm gonna stick with it.
You
I'm
think
staying
Josh
with
still?
it. I
Yeah.
think Ja could. I
Hey,
love Luca.
if my prediction's right and they finish the 1 seed,
Yeah, if
I
they
really
finish
see
the
that.
top of the West, I feel like he would win it. Like, and I'm not saying this just taking anything away from Luca because they were talking about like I read this cool article about Luca and the usage rate that he has. He's had the third highest, like kind of I don't know if it's all time, but the last two players to have higher than him, one of them was actually your boy Russell Westbrook, and he won
My guy.
MVP. And then I forgot who else it was. I believe it was maybe someone like Steph Curry, and he won MVP too. So with those type of stats behind Luca, I feel like I'm confident to say Luca would win MVP with
Yeah,
that usage rate. But man, I love Ja, man. I've always loved Ja, even when he was at Murray State, man.
totally.
I actually was watching Ja. I'm not gonna even act like one of those people. Oh, I know, like how people
No,
say, oh, I know this one rapper before everybody else know. But I saw Ja, man, early in like Murray State, man. I was like, this dude's gonna be special. I was like, this
yeah.
dude is averaging almost a triple double. He's almost getting a triple double in almost every game. Dude could drop 30, 40 if he wants to. And dude, he's doing it in the NBA right
That
now doing that, dropping 40, coming like he's crazy, man. And I love watching it. So I'm gonna stick with it right now. I think
I
John Morant is a lead runner for
I
MVP.
like that. And that's one other note I had about the Luca cases. I was watching they played Houston last night and Luca did not play and they lost to Houston. So I think that shows how much Luca look, they're 8-6 right now. They're 8-5 with Luca.
Mm,
But in the Western Conference, that's pretty impressive. So I think that shows how important Luka is to that team. Obviously, Ja, don't get me wrong, Ja's a part of his team as well. But
sure.
I know people were criticizing Ja last year because they were like 20-4 without him. But like it's John
Mm,
Morant. Like they're not. We saw in the playoffs, they're not beating the Warriors in a 7-game series without Ja. I
yeah.
do like that Ja pick. But yeah, I think it's gonna come down to one of those. I think it'll come down to one of those four guys. And you also got to give credit to Embiid. Embiid's been picking it up lately. He had that
Hmm.
59-point outing. Then he had that 42 outing like 24 hours earlier than that.
Of course.
So
Of course.
it's definitely a toss up, but I I definitely like that job pick for sure.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And then definitely, I mean, if Ja, I mean Ja, I like Ja, and obviously he's my MVP pick, but I would say it's a close second with the way even with the way they're playing right now is the Celtics and Jason
Yeah,
Tatum.
they're on
Jason
that eight
Tatum,
game win streak, 7-game win streak,
I
8-game win
right
streak, 8-game win streak.
8 game win streak right now, and he's killing it, man. I like Jason Tatum, man. I almost picked him. Like I did like a thing with myself where I was like a really too early, like right after the finals type of
Yeah,
MVP thing, and I was like Jason Tatum could come off of just wanting to have revenge on the league, on the
and
Warriors,
everything going on with Boston too with their
going on
with
with
the backcourt.
Boston. I was just like, oh yeah, let me put Jason Tatum as MVP. But I mean, I couldn't over my guy Ja, but I would say it's almost a close second. Those three guys right there, Ja, Luca, and Jason Tatum, I feel like that's very, very close. But I know there's a lot of conversation when it comes to the MVP, just like when it comes to like, on TNT, they talk about it. But it kind of matters when your team does well. So,
Yeah,
it's,
exactly.
if your team's doing really well and you're doing really well, you have a higher chance of winning the MVP.
Yeah,
So, especially with that, especially if things keep continuing and, Jason Tatum keeps doing what Jason Tatum does and they're number one in the East, hey, man, why wouldn't you want him as your
yeah.
MVP?
I
So, but yeah, no, that's what I gotta say about the MVP race. But let's get into an interesting one. Rookie of the year. Because I know
yeah.
I'm about to make some homers really upset.
I mean, mine's still Paulo. I think
Okay,
he's
that's
gonna come
fair.
back. Hopefully, he comes back soon. He came in right away. Not I'm knocking anybody
True,
else.
true.
Mathern's doing his thing. Don't get me wrong. It's gonna come down to Paulo and Mathern. As long as Paulo comes back and plays, most of the year. But
Hmm.
I think he's the most pro ready in the sense where he came in right away, putting up like 30, not 30 games, but he had a couple games he had 30 balls, whatever. I give it to
Mm,
Paulo. You can't really go as of this second right now.
mm,
Probably Mathern, but I think at the end of the season, I do think Paulo's going to take it home.
mm. I like it. I like it. I'm sorry. Shout out to the 407. Shout out to my family. Shout out to the
Hey,
Rodriguez,
shout out to Michael's family. Shout out to
Shohei.
Michael's family.
Shout out to the Osorio family. But I'm sorry. I'm so, so sorry. But on the fact that I said, when your team performs well and you win
Yeah,
well,
but that's the thing about the Rookie of the Year award. Like they don't always. It's hard to base that on winning because usually the
it
rookies
is.
don't. But to be fair, if Mathern's helping this team win, that helps his case. But I'll let you take it from here.
Exactly, exactly. And with that, and it's just the way he's performing, and just the way I like this guy, man. He's a stud, man. And ever since, that interview where he's like, I need LeBron to show me something. I was like, whoa. I was like, who's this guy? I was like, Benedict Mathurin. That's a pretty dope name. Like I like Paulo Banchero too, but he came in and like yeah, I gotta say it, man. Rookie of the year. If consistency keeps going, man, especially man,
It's impressive, and he
it's
doesn't have as big as a
impressive.
shot. Not he doesn't have as big as like a. I don't want to say role, but he's not starting, so it's like
Yeah.
it's impressive what he's doing with his
What's crazy
opportunities.
is he's not even starting and he's playing, I believe, I think top three most minutes on that team.
Yeah,
And he's
and that
and he's
that's
not
the
even
thing.
playing starting. So and the fact that he could possibly win rookie of the year and six man of the year, that drives me nuts because I'm just like, dude, he's gonna win two awards.
Yeah, as
Like
a rookie,
as a
can't give up that.
rookie, and I love that. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry for my people back home in Orlando, but
Hey,
I
Orlando people,
gotta
I got you.
say,
I still think Paulo takes it home. Don't worry.
I say my guy
I
Benedict
like that though.
Mathurin plays.
I like that. And as I said, it is very impressive what he's doing with his opportunity. Like obviously he's playing a lot of minutes, but like coming off the bench, that's it's not the same situation as Paulo where he's coming in. I think like the Magic kind of know he's their guy, even the players kind of know it. But
True.
yeah, I do like that pick. Obviously, I'm still rolling with Paulo, but Mathurin's right there. You can't really go wrong.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. No, I can't do anything with Mathurin. I can't get Mathurin out of my head. I know it sounds weird, but man, that dude is a dog. I like watching him play. He just he has this chip on his shoulder that just it's huge, man. This chip on his shoulder is huge. Where he's just like, I don't care who you are. I'm gonna play my game.
Yeah,
I'm gonna I'm gonna put it in your face, and I don't even care what you gotta say, man. I don't care if you're LeBron James. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't even care if it was Michael Jordan across from him. He'd be like, I'm gonna try to drop 40 on you. And I
yeah.
like that because even guys like Michael Jordan or even guys like Kobe, RIP to my boy Kobe. But
Mm.
like those are the guys that they were like, I don't care who you are. I'm gonna try to kill you. I'm gonna go for your
That's what
throat.
makes him great. You know what I mean? That's what
Exactly.
separates you.
Exactly. That's that, especially now, that's definitely that Mamba mentality.
Yeah,
Definitely now it's
100%.
like I don't care who you are, whatever. I'm gonna do whatever I can to win this game. I'm gonna do whatever to take you out. And he does that. He does that good and his team's performing well. So it's a nice little combination of everything for Benedict. So I gotta say right now, my predictions for rookie of the year is definitely Benedict
I
Mathurin.
like that. I like that. I like that.
So but yeah, let's mm, I we could talk about it. I really didn't know who to really pick right now because I feel like it's still early in the season for that type of thing because especially we have guys that like are doing really well like in the blocking
Yeah,
way and in the steals. But who do you feel could right now win DPOI?
yeah. I was stuck between two guys. Giannis, obviously, because he's on the best defensive team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
My personal defensive player, I don't know if he wins it. My personal defensive player is OG Anunoby.
OG another movie. Yep.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I we've talked about it before, but I'm a fan of guys who in my opinion, what differentiates guys on the defensive end is if they can defend the 1 through 5 and defend it well. Obviously, he's
Mm-hmm.
getting steals, but like it's not cheap steals. Like the guy's taking the ball away from like the best players on other teams, and it's just impressive to see because he's also scoring the ball well. And growing up, I was me and my dad were big IU fans. Obviously now West Virginia, West Virginia, West Virginia. So I loved OG at IU, and then he got drafted to the Raptors. He kind of reminds me of a mini Kawhi, ironically. Just he
Yeah.
defends the ball. Look, he's not Kawhi, but that Raptors team, he's a big piece of that Raptors team. So my personal pick for defensive player is OG Anunoby. I think he's gonna keep that up. I don't know if he'll win it because he might. I don't know if they'll get it over Giannis, but my pick, if it's up to me, I'm giving it to OG Anunoby.
Yeah. No, for sure. I like that. For me, I'm still gonna go with the most typical because he's number one on the number one defensive team, and
Yeah,
it's him. And it's Giannis. It's
yeah,
Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I think it's just everything, man. That guy brings everything to the court. I mean, he's their leading scorer, but then on the defensive end, he's like their defensive anchor. And like it's like
yeah,
he can guard 1 through 5 if he wants to. If he wanted to. Like he could guard your best guy and then he could also guard your big man if need be.
100%. Yeah,
So I'm gonna have to go with him. I believe he's top 10 in both steals and blocks. But I will say this. I believe yes, Giannis is number one defensive, and number two is OG. But I will say this: there's still Marcus Smart who's doing well on
yeah,
defensive end.
smart.
But we brought him up earlier, and he's top
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
15. He's top 15 in both stats, but he's top five in one of them. But SGA, man,
I don't hate that. I don't hate that.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, man, is top five in steals, and he's top 15 in blocks as a guard. Who?
I yeah. That reminds me. I was looking at Shea for that. The only thing that I think from a media perspective is the only reason again, not the only reason I pick Giannis, but I feel like the media doesn't want to, vote for the same guy over and over. The
Oh
only
yeah.
thing I the only thing I thought about Chase, he does so much offensively that people like kind of like undermine his defensive game.
Oh,
So
of
that's
course.
you know what I mean. But he don't get me wrong, great defender, great two-way player.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely I would keep my eye on for that, but he just does so much offensively that people don't really realize his impact on the defensive side of the ball as much as they do for
True.
Giannis. You know what I mean? But
True.
I
True.
definitely that's a lot of people probably don't realize. I feel like a lot of people don't talk enough about his defense just because offensively he's so gifted and talented.
Oh, yeah. No, most definitely, and I love that about him. And I will say, people watch out for Shea. Watch out for Shea,
That
especially if he continues. And I know the way he plays, or I like the way he plays. Not to say I know exactly how he plays,
yeah
but definitely with the way he plays and that he just keeps doing his thing, I will say for sure, 100%. Like
yeah
he could be in the talks by the end of the season if he keeps going. So I will say that. So people keep an eye out for Shea, but definitely I'm on the same boat. OG and Giannis are right
yeah
now at top. I'd probably just give Giannis more of the nod because he's on the number one defensive
yeah
team, but a lot of that is on him.
yeah.
So, it's great to see that. And I like that. So, but hey, let's get into this, man. Let's get into I don't know if you want to go third team. We could not do third team, but let's see right now. What are your predictions for first and second team, like all
All right,
NBA teams? Who who
I'm
do you
glad you
who do you
brought it
got?
up. So I'll start with first team, or what do you want me to start with, first or second?
Let's start with second.
Start with second. I like
Let's
that. I like
build
that. I like
yeah,
that. I
build
like
up the
that.
little yeah, build up the little
Um,
mystery on
I
behind
did
it.
have to leave a couple names out
Okay.
of. Yeah, but it was tough. This took me a while because I
Yeah,
was,
do some honorable mentions
yeah.
first and then go into
Well,
second
so
going
basically, you want me
first.
to say my third team essentially, but like, I got you. But like,
Yeah.
well, like, no, yeah. To go to my second team, the guys I had to leave out, which, I was highly critical of him, was Donovan Mitchell. Um,
Wait, whoa, what?
like he did not make my All NBA second team.
Donovan Mitchell didn't make your second team?
So my third team. The only reason it was hard because regards, it's tough because I have Ja and Shea,
Okay, okay.
and then my first team for I'll start with my second team. But yeah, I have Ja
Start with
Shea. Yeah. Well,
Ja. On your second team, you have John Shea.
well, let me get into that. I got
Okay.
John Shea, I got KD, I got Siakam and Jokic. First team, this was hard because first team I have Luca and Curry, and obviously if Luca's my pick for MVP, he's got to be first team all league, and I think Curry's. I think the Warriors are going to figure it out and be a top seed in the Western Conference.
Okay.
And because remember for All NBA, it's guard, forward, center. It's not like they do the five best players.
No, no, yeah.
That's why it's tough. Don't get me. If I'm doing the top five, Ja is 100% top five this year. So I
Mm.
had yes, my second team, it's Ja, Shea, KD, Siakam, Jokic, and then my first team is Luca, Steph, Jason Tatum, Giannis, and Joel Embiid.
That's pretty.
It was
Wait,
hard though. The
yo,
guards is
Bry,
hard.
you have me punching there because I love him, but you don't even have. I mean, with those guards,
But
I mean, oh yeah, I get it, but my boy Donovan Mitchell, man,
yeah, I
that
have him
is
at third. I just okay.
that hurts.
Again, you know me. I'm critical of Mitchell. He's been playing
You
great
are,
this year.
you
I'm
are,
gonna give him credit where credit's due.
of course.
It's early to say. I don't want to say I was wrong yet because it's early. But
Mhm.
are you taking him over Shea and Ja this year, or are you taking like if you're okay? Let me put it to you this way: out of Luca, Steph, Ja, and Shea, who are you taking out to put in Mitchell? If there's anybody, me personally, I don't. There's nobody I'm putting. I can't put him over Shea. I
Okay,
can't do it.
so let me do my second
Yeah,
team.
you got to get to it.
So my second team at guard, I have Steph. I have
Okay.
Shea. My small forward is well, it's really forwards in general. I have oh my lord, where's my list? Where is my list? I need to get to my list of players. What am I doing? What am I doing right now? Hold on, let me get to my players. So I have Steph, Shea, then I also have at the small forward position, I have Kevin Durant.
Okay, we agree on that.
Okay. And then I have not Nikolai Jokic. What am I saying? Who's another forward that is doing really good this season? It was hard because the forward spots I
Yeah.
couldn't really pick out a lot of guys that are doing so well this year. But I had it well actually with the way he's been playing and everything. I did have it at small forward. Hold on. Actually, yeah, I don't even know my other forward. I kept talking about this with myself, and I couldn't really pick another forward. So let me come back to that forward spot. But
Okay.
my big man ranting it out is Nikolai Jokic, obviously.
Okay, so
I
we have
mean,
three of the same five. We have three of the five.
three of
The
the
same.
same of the five. So hold on, go back to your second team. You
So I
had
had Josh, Shea, KD, Siakam, and Jokic.
Siakam and Jokic.
So we just disagreed on Ja and Siakam. Ja and Siakam. Yeah.
Yeah. See,
Oh,
because
it hurt me to
see,
put Ja. I did hurt me to put Ja too, though. I will say that.
yeah, for me, I probably would. The way he's been performing, I probably would have to agree with putting Siakam in there as another forward.
Yeah.
Because the only other guy that I could say is doing probably just as well. I mean, maybe Paul
Yeah,
George.
I had Paul George on my third team, but I just had to give it to Siakam. But Paul George was
Um,
right there behind him.
yeah, I'd probably give it to Siakam because the team's doing better.
So
So I
four of
would
the five, you'd
obviously,
say this we have the same. So you
yeah.
just think that Ja is first team, which you can definitely make an argument for. I just have it as I just have it Curry right now.
So yeah, so I had yeah. So my first team right now would be Ja, Luca, Tatum, Giannis, and Embiid.
Okay, so we really have the same top 10 players. Just we
Yeah,
have you just have Ja and Curry flipped, essentially.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, tell me more about that. Why you put what do you think about that?
I think of it as because he's performing, I would say performing almost the same like Curry, but his team's winning. And I would
That's
say
fair.
obviously
That's
his
fair.
team is doing better. But it's also the fact that Jaw's able to do everything else that I'm not gonna say Curry can't do, but
Yeah.
Curry is literally just doing the scoring for them. Like, yes, he has to facilitate and stuff, but like that's where I guess that usage rate comes in where like Luca gets that nod because like with the usage rate of Luca, I feel like that's why I picked him over Curry. Really, I really had
Yeah.
Curry over. I had Luca over Curry
Yeah. Okay.
more than having Ja. I felt like Ja was more of his own because I felt like I compared more of Ja with Shea because they're guys that will do a lot more than like Luca does the same, but like I just felt like the way their Luca's being used, where he's doing a little bit of everything for them
Yeah.
with the Mavericks. It's almost like the same with Curry in a way, but like it's like for Curry, he just kind of like they're like score, 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 score,
Yeah.
score, and then Luca's like, all right, okay, facilitate score, but then you have John Shea where it's like they can facilitate score, but then they can also play on the defensive end as well.
Yeah.
But then Ja really doesn't have to do as much because how great his team is because he has Desmond
That's what I was.
Bain
Yeah. That's the
and
one
all
thing I
that
just
stuff.
wanted to. I wanted to ask you. I'm sorry, Coach. I just want to ask you this before I forget about that.
Mhm.
So, like, what do you like? I think if you take Ja off the Grizzlies and if you take Curry off the Warriors, I think the Warriors are way worse.
Oh yeah, no, for sure,
That's
for
also
sure.
why I just think team impact. No, don't get me wrong, Ja's great, but
Mm,
that was another reason why I had Curry over him. It's
yeah,
just
Curry.
what he's doing, and
That's fair.
okay, he's playing with good players, just not performing as well. So I'm sorry to cut you off. Continue what you're saying.
No, no, no. I mean, no, you're right. You really kind of just finished what I was gonna say. It's just, I mean, I think I'm being more of a, I don't even know how to say the word, but like I'm falling too much of the trap that like the way these guys get these awards is the fact on like how good their team kind of does.
Mhm.
So it's like that's why I had to give the nod over some of the guys that are. I feel like if the team was performing well, it was a little bit different. Some of my guys on the second team would be on the first team,
Yeah,
because of how good their teams are performing. Or really, my second team is kind of just filled with some players that their teams are not performing as well, but they're doing really well, like
Oh
Steph
wait,
Curry.
so then where'd you have Mitchell? Because I had him third team, and we're
I I have him third team as well.
can I get an apology, please?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, because it's just I just
It's
oh
just
my
there's just
lord,
guys who
it's
are
hard.
over him. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
not a
that
knock on Mitchell.
guard position. It's the
Just I want to hear.
guards.
Can you just tell me? I want to see if our third team was similar. Who was your third team?
So my third team, my point guard was Trey Young.
Okay, okay,
My guard was Donovan Mitchell. My small forward was I mean at this point it was pretty much Paul
okay.
George. My other it was Anthony Davis because he's pretty much doing well. And then
Yeah,
my center, I mean, I probably had I didn't even know what center was doing really good. Like another center. Like it's really hard between just having Embiid and Jokic.
Yeah, that okay.
So with my center spot, I had I think I just put it out there, but I had Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay, yeah. Similar again. But I mean, a couple differences. But so I had Mitchell. I
Hmm.
had Devin Booker though on third team.
Hmm.
Paul George. I had LeBron because I wanted. I feel like I had LeBron and AD, but my thinking was if the Lakers are that bad, there's no way they can have two guys on the All NBA team. That just cannot happen.
I picked AD over
Yeah.
LeBron.
I just think Anthony Davis puts up stats but doesn't make a huge impact. That's the only reason I had LeBron over him.
Hmm.
But again, it's the Lakers. Like they cannot. I don't care what anyone says. They cannot have two guys on the All NBA team if they're bottom three team in the West. And then my center was
Damn right.
Sabonis. Sabonis was more of like a my like I just love Sabonis. So like, I don't know if he
Hmm.
gets 13, but if it was up to me, the Kings are winning. Sabonis is averaging a double double, I believe. So that was my pick for center. There was other guys you could have put Cat. I mean, I guess you could make an argument for Gobert too, but
Hmm.
if it was up to me, right now I would personally give it to Domantas Sabonis.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. The only person I thought, but I didn't want to be a homer, was really Bam
Oh
behind
yeah,
Karl Anthony Towns because like the way he performs on our team and does well, it's like I can't think of another big man that probably is just as good as
yeah.
Bam. But then
You
it's just like
yeah.
it's just hard
Yeah.
to say. But I mean, I didn't want to say that. I really picked Karl Anthony Towns over the point right now because he's averaging a lot on a team that should be really, really good.
Yeah.
And they're like they're right
They're
now
the 12 seed,
and
I believe, right? Or 11 seed,
no,
maybe?
no, 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 no. They moved up a little bit. They won some
Oh, no.
games.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I was looking at my
They've been doing
predictions.
some good, so they're just, um, yeah. So I picked Karl Anthony Towns. I like Karl Anthony Towns, but the only other person I really thought of, I did think of Zabonis, which that's probably some disrespect that I didn't put him there, but I had Bam ahead of him. I had Bam right after Karl Anthony Towns. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So pretty like. I like that. I like that. I like that.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So. But yeah, I mean that's rounding up our little predictions, man. I like those little predictions that we had. I think we had some really good
uh,
predictions.
again, I'm
So
trying to disagree with you, but we're just agreeing on that a lot of stuff, which I think
we
we're
didn't
you
even
know,
talk about this. Like we didn't even go into each other's
no, no,
before we
not at
even
all. I
go
don't
into
want
this.
people out there thinking, oh, let's make a list, put everything the same, and just talk about it. But like, I think that like we're seeing a lot of the same stuff, noticing a lot of the same stuff. So I think we out of the 15 guys who made all NBA teams, like we had like 12 who were the same or whatever, 10, 11, 12 were the same, which I thought was really, kind of shows, that we really are on the same wavelength in terms of, watching basketball and our takeaways. So,
Of course.
yeah, that's I definitely agree with a lot of what you were saying before, though. For sure.
Oh yeah. No, for sure. All right, and now we're just hey man, we're coming to
Yeah.
the end of this, but we're gonna get into some fun things right now.
Let's
We
do
are
it. Let's
gonna
do it.
go into the very hey. I want to give the shout out to everyone that watches this. Doesn't matter who
Yeah.
you are, if you're family, your great friends, if you're just somebody random that just saw our link and was like, "Oh, let me click in and listen to these
For
guys."
sure.
We appreciate you big time.
We got I will say I have big aspirations for this podcast, and we got way more love and support than I thought we would get after one episode. Actually, like generally means a lot to us. We really just love the game of basketball, doing what we love, talking about it. I just
Hmm.
thank everyone for all the love, sharing it on their IGs, commenting questions on our Instagram. It just means a lot to us. It's really like it's really a dream of ours, and we just hopefully it keeps going up. And stay tuned. And we got a lot coming for you coming for you guys on this podcast.
Exactly, exactly. But hey, let's get into it, man. We had some questions. We had some very good questions from
Shout out
some
to my cousin
viewers.
Noah. Shout out to my cousin Noah asking questions. Shout out to Andre, and there's a couple other people who asked questions. Michael, I think.
No, I have a very special shout out to a very special person. Chelsea. Chelsea,
Chelsea,
I
shout out
love you.
Chelsea.
Shout out Chelsea. She asked a
Chelsea, we're
very
picking you
great
up to play
question.
play basketball at the rec with us.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. She's a hooper. She's a hooper. Can't wait to have her. Hey man, she's good, man. She's good. But I'm gonna start with her question, man. She talked about how really just the post game, like how's the post game used today? Is it used less today
Yeah,
in today's game? And I mean, I could go first on this because I have a
go for it.
pretty intriguing view on it because growing up, I mean, even as basic as like even when I would play like 2K and stuff, I always loved making big men. And I mean, growing up watching like old school basketball and stuff like that, I really admired guys like Hakeem Olajuwon, David
Perfect.
Robinson, even your boy Pat Ewing, and especially like back in the day, like even when we were picking our all NBA teams, man, it's so hard to really kind of just pick guys in the center position spot now
Yeah.
because it's like there's not a lot of dominant big men anymore, and it's kind of sad to see, but I feel like the game's evolving where guys are becoming smarter to where they're like tending more to their like strengths. So like I'm gonna bring up a couple guys that I still see today that
Yeah.
the post game is definitely, I will say this, Chelsea, the post game is definitely less used in today's game because it's very spaced out floor. But I will give you some names that these are the guys that are still kind of back to the basket and will post you up. And it's kind of nice because some of them are young. But Sengun from
Oh yeah.
from the Rockets, dude
Rockets.
posts up, hits, nice little shimmies, nice little hook shots, up and unders. I like him. Um, Zabonis still kind of does
Yeah.
it. I mean, he gets it from his dad, and his dad was a great trailblazer, and obviously, was one of those big men that was like, I believe he was like 7'3", I believe 7'4".
Yeah.
He was
He was a
tall
big.
guy, but then he could facilitate. He had his back to the basket. He could hit you with a nice little fadeaway, but then he hit my nice little giveaway. So I'd say Zabonis, Sengun. I mean Bam. I I pick Bam because he's more of just he gets in the post, but he's very kind of mid range. So like he kind of beats you more off of like I'm gonna post you up, but then I'm gonna face up and I'm gonna hit you with a jab set and go to the rim. He doesn't do
Yeah,
too
for sure.
much of like, hitting fadeaways and everything. Because only the person that I could really think that does like really stays in the post and does their thing is like on a consistent basis is really Giannis, maybe.
Yeah. I don't
Because
think.
he just posts up everybody and he gets down there. I mean, even Shaq has said like people there's like this one thing where Shaq is like sitting on a chair and he talks about how like people are like, "Oh, there's no more guys like Shaq." And he's like, "Oh, I am. I'm still in the league. My name is the Greek Freak." You
Oh
know?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and like I see that because he posts people up and he just dominates down there. Like he does what Shaq did kind of back in the day. It's just he wasn't as big as
Yeah.
Shaq back in the Shaq was an anomaly, man. Like
Massive.
oh yeah, he's the like I'm sorry, probably back to the really really old like 60s Wilt Chamberlain or even Kareem, but Shaq is probably in my eyes the most dominant big man of all
Yeah.
time. Like you could
No,
not
for
stop
sure.
him at all. So
And five guys at him, still not enough.
oh yeah, nope, not enough. You had to pretty much send the army after
Yeah.
him. He would still probably drop. It'd be barbecue chicken.
Barbecue chicken, man.
So yeah, but how about you, man? What do you
Yeah.
guys say?
Obviously agree with your point of how now it's more spaced out. Obviously, Curry changed he really incorporated that 3-point ball now. So I think the one guy I want to bring up that I think is the perfect example of how the game has transcended really in the last 10 years, maybe even less, but was Brook Lopez.
Mm.
Looking back at his, New Jersey Nets, Brooklyn Nets days, he had one 3-pointer in his first seven. It took him 7 seasons for him to make his first
Hmm.
3-pointer, right? And now
Yes.
he's leading the NBA big men in 3-point makes. So I think that itself shows how much the game is. Because I remember when I was first getting into basketball, obviously, from Jersey, so I pay attention to the Nets. And
Of course.
Lopez, if he was outside the point line, you're like, what is he doing? And now you can't leave him open. And he's 7 feet tall, so you're not blocking the shot really either. So I think that itself shows how much the game has changed. I feel like nowadays there are, as you said, there aren't many guys who stay in the post. So I feel like it's really like you're either a rim protector or a stretch big. Like,
Yeah.
well, rim protectors, I think, Capella, Gobert, DeAndre Ayton, and then stretch bigs like Porzingis or Cat. Like, I just think there's like a fine line between the two.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's a couple guys you said Giannis, but like, I think nowadays it's really, I can really, if we go through every team, I feel like they're big guys, either a rim protector or a stretch big. And
Sure.
obviously with Cat, he can shoot too. But so that's my take on it. Like there's nobody really like Hakeem anymore, like Kareem, like guys who like live in the post, like the Dream Shake, like all the footwork. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. I'm not saying it's bad. It's reality is, the game's changed. You see,
Mm,
Brooke Lopez, I think, is the perfect example to show how much the game's changed really since the last decade or so. So that's my
yeah.
take on it. I love it. I mean, I would love to see more guys in the paint. I
Oh,
also
yeah.
think it's tricky. They have that defensive 3 second violation. That's obviously a rule, so I
Yeah.
think that might play a part. I mean, it's for the defense on the defensive side. But yeah, that's my take on it. I just think it's really either your rim protector or stretch big. So
Yeah.
that's what I think. But it's fun to watch. So I'm not complaining.
Yeah. We live in this different generation now where
Yeah,
it's just, guys could shoot from the half court line and,
exactly.
might as well just, I mean, you would think if you're going to space it out, you would have more one on one down low, but we just don't see it where guys are just
We just
force
don't.
feeding it down there or guys even want to be down there.
Like
So,
there are some guys where I'm like they should be in the paint doing post work, but they're out on the 3 point
but
line.
they're not.
You know what I mean? So
Anthony Davis. Um, but we'll
Carl-Anthony
continue.
Towns. He's a good 3 point shooter, but like he's not as good as a 3 point shooter as he says he is. That's what I'm saying. But
Yeah,
Anthony Davis, yeah, for sure.
fair. But let's move on. We got another question here. I think this was from one of your people. They want to talk about the Cavs.
Yeah, shout out my cousin Noah. He's been a Cavs fan as long as I've known him, so he's a day one Cavs fan. I gotta give him credit's due. Noah, I love you, my guy. Michael will tell you how critical I was of Donovan Mitchell. He knows I'm not a big fan of
Uh,
volume shooter guys. That's why I'm also critical of
no,
other.
he's not. No, he's
Not
not.
Michael knows. Michael knows. But I got to. They're on a bit of a. They started like 8-1. Now they're 8-5. Again,
Yeah.
it's a season of
Think it's
runs.
injuries. Injuries. A lot of
Yeah,
like Donovan Mitchell
exactly.
set out some
But that's when
games.
Garland had 50,
Mobley.
52, I think, was when they were out like half their team.
Yeah.
But my take on the Cavs, Noah, to be frank with you, I think they're a playoff team, no doubt. Maybe I think they can win a playoff series, but I personally don't think they're a step below Milwaukee, Philly, Boston, Miami. I just don't think they're. I think they might finish top four in the East, but I don't see them making the conference finals. I think they're capped this season with they're not the most experienced group of young guys. I, I don't know if they can get past the second round. But Michael, well, let me know your thoughts. I know you love Donovan Mitchell. So
Oh, that's my guy. I love Spider Man. I have his shoes, his basketball shoes. I don't wear them because I have Curry's,
yeah,
unfortunately. But I love Donovan, man, and I feel like that new there's this one edit video I see on like YouTube Shorts of just the times that he lost. It shows like every year that he lost in the playoffs, and it's like
yeah.
sad music, and then the music kicks up and it plays like like those edits that you play, and it's Donovan Mitchell thriving in the Cavs. But Noah, you're gonna like my take. I think the Cavs finish top three in the East.
You think they
I,
finish over Boston, Milwaukee, and
I
Philly?
don't I don't think they finish over Boston and Milwaukee
Okay,
for
but okay,
sure.
that's fair. That's fair.
But I see them
I
finishing
can
over
see
the
that.
Sixers and Miami and all. Yeah, I Noah, you like my take. Hopefully you like my take. I think they finish top three, especially when they have everybody playing.
Do you think how far do you think
Garland.
they go in the playoffs though?
Oof, I don't know.
That's my thing. I think
That's a good question.
I
That's
I see them winning a playoff series. I don't see them winning more than one playoff series. That's my take.
fair. I say I'm confident enough to where they can maybe go to the to the
I don't
Eastern
know if they
Conference.
can.
It's just I don't know, but I don't know because it depends on
It's
who they
tough.
run
It's
into.
tough because I think if they play Philly or if they're the 4 seed and they play Milwaukee second round, oof,
Oof.
their
I
season
mean,
might be over then. But again, I think a lot of I agree depends on who they're matched up with, where they finish, if there's any upsets, that and that. But as you're saying,
that's true. I say they finished top three.
I like
So
that. I like that. I like that.
I like the Cavs. I love Donovan Mitchell. I know it's volume shooter, but man, dude performs very, very well. And I just feel like he just didn't have enough help like he has now.
Yeah, I think a little bit reminds me a little bit of Harden. It's not completely Mitchell's fault because he doesn't have a ton of help, but he always puts up numbers in the regular season. He's a great offensive player. He's great scorer. Don't get me wrong. It's just my questions are playoff time. Again, he wasn't in the greatest situation with Gobert and Utah. Utah was a solid team, but
True.
that's my worry is playoff time. But look, hey, he's playing with Garland. He's playing with other guys like obviously Mobley, Jared Allen. So he's not
Mm,
gonna have to do everything offensively. But again, don't see any world where they do make it past the second round. I just don't.
Mm,
Sorry, no,
well,
I love you, but that's my opinion. You asked for it, I gave it to you, my guy.
all right. Well, let's move to the next one, man. I mean, we talked about them. We talked about Sixers and the Cat. We kind of talked a little bit with the Cavs with some of the Sixers. So let's talk about the Embiid and Garland 50-point
Oh
games from
yeah,
last week, man. That was ridiculous. I enjoyed it because especially for Embiid, he's showing that he can still play. He's still a big MVP type of talk, possibly. He's
and he
been
makes free throws too, which is even more impressive for a
he
big man. I
makes
think
free
he shot
throws.
28 free throws, I believe, that game. He had
True.
58 points. No, it's 24 free throws, maybe, but he had 58 points and like 28 shots, which again, I don't know if all those fouls were fouls, but hey, at the end of the day, the ref called him, put the points on the board, and finished with 59 points. So
That's true. And then Garland, on the other hand, he did it with
that was a
her
fun
Cavs
50 to
team.
watch.
It
That was
was a
fun.
great 50. Yeah, very,
Um,
very fun to watch. And I enjoyed it, man. And Embiid and Garland, man, those 50-point games were something else, especially the fact that Embiid went to the line 24. What was it, 24 times or something
I
like that?
think it
And he
was. I
made,
think it was in the 20s for sure.
so I mean, hey, man, hey, James Harden did that for a living too. So
Hey,
we got
that's
to give
what.
where
Yeah,
credit's due. He probably learned it. I
yeah,
mean, they're on the same team. He's probably at practice learning it
and
with
yeah.
Harden.
To be fair,
So
most 7 foot guys cannot shoot free throws that well. So shout out to Embiid.
no,
I think Philly's going to turn it around. So yeah, that's my takes
okay,
on it. They were
okay.
both very fun to watch.
See, so shout out to your boy Noah, man. If this type of stuff could continue with Garland, man, like
Oh
him
yeah,
and Donovan Mitchell, are you kidding me? Are you
yeah,
kidding me? Like that,
yeah.
like even I think I'm confident he's done it. He's gotten close to it, but Donovan Mitchell could score 50 in a game if he wants to.
On 50 shots though. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You're probably right. You're probably right, but he could do it, man. He
No,
could light
yeah,
up
no,
for
not no
40, man.
disrespect.
So
No doubt, no doubt. He's very talented offensively. So I don't want to, be a Debbie Downer in all that sense. But he's very much capable of going off for 50 points.
oh yeah, no, for sure, for sure. So let's talk about another. Somebody brought up. I think this was maybe Andre De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox.
Who brought up
De'Aaron Fox
De'Aaron
is Andre,
Fox?
Andre, Andre, Andre. Yeah, Andre's been big on the Kings. That's been his sleeper team.
Hey man. Hey,
Hey,
well they're doing good. They're
they're
doing
doing
good.
good.
De'Aaron Fox is doing well.
Hmm.
I like De'Aaron Fox. I think we did talk. I mean, I think Andre's gonna like it in the beginning. We did talk a lot about De'Aaron Fox
We
because we
did.
talked about the Kings. So I mean, the only thing I could really say is that he's becoming a scarier player, that he's
Yeah.
getting comfortable with the 3-point shot. But I
Where does
love
he
De'Aaron
rank in your
Fox.
top guards? Like, where do you think I'm not saying like an exact number, but where do you think he's roughly in terms of top guards in the league? Like point guards, I'll say.
Okay, so point guards, I'm gonna say guys that I think are better than him, and then
Hmm. Yeah.
we could piece where that is. So guys that I think that are better than De'Aaron, and I know this is kind of like putting him in a negative light because I'm saying guys that are better than him, but I think Steph Curry's better than him, Damian Lillard's better than him. Right now, with the way he's playing, Shea is better than him.
You got to put Kyrie when he's healthy, when he plays. Like right now, De'Aaron Fox. But if are we talking about right now, the second?
Right
Like
now,
this.
the
Oh,
second,
then
I
this. Yeah.
wouldn't even put
Don't put Kyrie. Don't put Kyrie.
yeah, no, I'm not. I don't even.
John Morant too, though.
Yeah, John Morant. So that's Damian Lillard. That's 4 guards right now that I think are better than him.
We're talking about point guards or just guards in general.
Point guards, because
Okay.
that's
Okay.
really, yeah. Because I mean, there's Ja, Steph,
Yeah.
um, Damian Lillard,
Luca too. If we're
Luca.
classing him as a point guard.
No, he is a point guard. He's definitely
Okay.
a point guard.
I mean,
Uh,
CP3. This year, I'm taking De'Aaron over CP3.
oh yeah, no, for sure. So I would say 5 or 6 in the league.
I think that's
I
very
think that's really
respectable.
respectable for him, especially coming off of really nobody was really even talking about him the
Oh, Trey
last.
Young. Did we say Trey Young?
I would take De'Aaron Fox over Trey Young. I'm
Oh,
sorry, Trey Young. I'd take him over I'd say Trey Young's right after De'Aaron Fox.
I would put Trey over De'Aaron.
Ooh,
I don't know
I
about.
mean that's not that bad. I don't
I
think
don't know.
I feel like it's more of just who would you. I don't even
Yeah,
know. Yeah, I feel like
this
it was
year
whoever you're
maybe
comfortable with.
like as of like this first 15 games, Darren's probably been like Trey hasn't been bad. He just hasn't been as efficient as he
He's
should
been
be.
hurt, hasn't he? He's been hurt
He's
for a
been
couple
I
of
don't know if it
games.
was he's been out for whatever reason, but I would probably take Trey over him.
Yeah,
I mean
fair.
that's just my opinion, but I definitely I mean if Harden classifies as a point guard too.
But
What
not
about
right now.
that's true. That's true. What about Garland though? We didn't talk about Darius Garland.
He just came back though. That's what I'll say. He's just coming back. So I feel like him
Yeah.
getting into it. I feel like, yeah, if he keeps playing like how he played last week, yeah, I'd probably put him over De'Aaron, but De'Aaron's been playing since game one, so I wouldn't.
Yes. So okay,
Uh,
no, that's fair. That's fair. I was just throwing some names out there, but
yeah,
I agree with
yeah,
that.
because I can't think of any other guards. I mean,
I mean, you have Drew,
point
not Drew. I wouldn't
guards.
take Drew Holiday over him. No disrespect to Holiday. Um, no,
Drew
I agree.
Holiday's having that all star season, just like how he did when he was on the Sixers.
Yeah. I mean, I probably still give the nod to Fox.
Yeah, I probably would too.
You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, I I think we're finally putting respect on the Kings, like you and me, especially
Oh yeah,
on this podcast. We're giving love to the Kings, which
of
not
course.
many people can say. So
So yeah, so top five, type six point guard in the league, De'Aaron Fox. I mean, that's good.
yeah,
I feel like
I
that's
like
that's
that.
good enough. I don't even think people last year even put him top 10.
No, I'm looking at this one list. Has him. This is a going into the season has him at 15. I think it's by some NBA site, but yeah, no,
Yeah,
which is
see?
15, which behind Marcus Smart, Van Vliet, Jamal Murray, which he just came back, but I agree. He's definitely in my eyes easily top 7.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
easy. Yeah. I
You
say
know,
that. See, there you go.
I
So
agree.
Andre, there you go. Top, top,
Shout out
top.
Andre. Shout out Andre.
Yeah, shout out Andre, man. Um, all right. I mean, from there, I mean, we could kind of connect this, but biggest surprise so far and any hot takes? You had one. You said the Pelicans
Yeah,
going to the Western
I'm
Conference
a
Finals. That's a hot
yeah.
take.
And then I think another hot take. I think the Raptors. I don't know. I don't know. Depends on who gets matched up with who. But I think the Raptors can win a playoff series. But I think it depends who they match up with first. Same with Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn has a potential to. It depends who they match up with. Because again, if these teams can match up with Milwaukee or Boston, that's not happening.
You think the Nets are gonna
No, I think they can. Depends who they. I think if they match up with Cleveland, it's interesting. I don't think they beat Cleveland.
mm,
I think the Nets can make it interesting. But I said the same thing last year and they got swept. So I'm
sure.
not saying by any means the Nets are winning a playoff series. I think if they figure it out, they can, but they don't have enough depth. Depth is my problem. And then my
Mm.
biggest surprise, we said it enough. It goes without saying, it's definitely Shea. That's mine for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
And though, to be
Uh,
fair, the Warriors are a bit of a surprise for me in a negative way, but Shea is my
sure.
surprise player. Let me hear what you got to say, Michael.
Um, hot take. I think I'll just go with the same thing. No, you're gonna like this. I say Cavs can make it to the Eastern Conference. I say it.
You think they will, or you think they can?
I think they will.
Ooh, so who do you think they can match up with?
They get matched up with most likely if it's one. Hold on. How does this work? I think they get matched up with the Celtics. Right? Would that
Ooh,
work?
see,
Celtics
it
and
could happen.
Cavs.
So then the Celtics. Well, the
Yeah.
Celtics. Are you saying that? So the Bucks would finish as the 2 seed then? Yeah, because then they play Cleveland at 3.
Yes. Yep.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that.
Because I
But
feel like they can match up with the Bucks
so are you telling me
and the Celtics.
you think Boston wins that series?
Mm.
So you think the Cavs can make the finals?
Uh,
I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just asking.
no,
Hey,
I
let's
say
hear it.
I say Celtics win that
Okay.
win that series. I feel like that series goes far, but
Hey,
with the experience they have, they would
yeah.
win it. So I would say that. But
But if the Cavs do make the conference finals this year, that's pretty successful considering where they
hey,
were
man,
last
my
year, and it's
boy
their first.
Donovan Mitchell moves up in life, man. I love it.
I like that. So you get your team's the Cavs that stay on, and mine is the Pelicans. I think that's very. I honestly think the Cavs probably have a better chance of making the conference finals than the Pelicans. But um,
I will say this though, and I don't know. I don't think this is a hot take. Memphis Grizzlies go to the
Chris,
finals.
I like that. Okay, that was my matchup for the Western Conference final. I was between them or I wanted to say the Clippers, but I'm not picking the Clippers. I do like that. I think that would be a fun series if it was Memphis Cleveland in the finals. I would love to see that.
That'd
Love
be
to see that.
awesome. That would be awesome.
Honestly, that might be my dream. That might be my dream. A finals matchup. To be honest with you, if I'm in terms
Sure,
of just watching basketball, I think the guard play would be insane.
sure, sure,
Hopefully
sure.
Jaren Jackson Jr.'s, hopefully he'd be healthy by then. But I like that. So if you were to give me, I don't mean to put you on the spot. My boy Michael. I'm not trying to make you look bad, but if you were going to give
Mhm.
me a way too early finals matchup, what is your matchup?
Celtics and Grizzlies.
Celtics, Grizzlies. Okay, I got Grizzlies. I got Grizzlies Bucks. So I like
Mm,
that.
that's
I
fair. I would probably pick the Bucks too, but I mean, with my hot talk saying the Cavs, it would either be Celtics,
okay.
Grizzlies, or Cavs and Grizzlies, which I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure a lot of people would like that. So
and another thing, I think Dallas can make a run too. I think they have the potential to make the Western Conference Finals as well. I think
mm,
Luka's doing so much for that team. I think
I
you
say
know.
that's the matchup in the Western Conference Finals: Grizzlies and
Ooh.
Mavs.
Okay, mine is New Orleans. New Orleans. If I would pick, mine's gonna be New Orleans and Memphis, which I think would be a fun series.
Mm.
I think either way. I love Memphis. Desmond Bain, one of the most. Desmond Bain was one of my picks for the most
He's
surprising
he's
as
out
well.
though for the next couple weeks, so hopefully, I
Yeah,
mean, I
he's
feel
out.
like they'll do
Hopefully comes
good.
back soon. But
Yeah,
I
no,
couldn't
he's
agree
only out for a
more.
couple weeks, but yeah,
Um,
no.
I think Memphis is my team out of the West, and that took me a while. The West is good, so
Yeah.
but yeah, I totally agree with that.
Did I pick a no, I didn't pick a big surprise. Big surprise. I'd say probably I wouldn't even say Shea because I've always liked Shea. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna say Shea. I'm sorry, but I feel like I kind of expect this with Shea. My biggest surprise, I think it would still have to be the Utah Jazz.
I like that. Do you think the Jazz keep
Still.
it up though? I
Mm,
I
I
don't see a
don't
world where
I
they.
don't think so, but I hope so.
Yeah,
I really hope so. I would just say the fact that they're still top five in the West, and the way they're still playing, the guys like Laurie Markin is still dropping 20 and all that. I feel like they can though. They can
the way they're
stick by
playing,
it and everything.
100% they can. I think the other teams are gonna figure it out.
Yeah,
Like Golden State.
true, true.
I don't know what's gonna happen
See,
with the Lakers, but yeah,
negatively, I have to agree with you though. My other surprise, like on the other end, would have to be the fact that the Warriors are doing bad. And I will have to, I'm gonna say it, even though, yeah, it's a surprise to me because I don't like it. The Heat doing bad right now.
yeah. Okay, I was
I
gonna say
don't
my
like it.
also surprise was RJ just being as bad as he is. I also wanted to say one thing we haven't talked about. Another surprise is definitely Portland's. Um, as I said, I think they have three guys averaging 20 over 20 a game. I know definitely Dame and Simons are averaging
Mm,
over 20, and I want to say Jeremy Grant is, and they have Shaden Sharp, they have Nurkic. They got a pretty solid team, which I think come playoff time that's a scary team to play against. But Portland was another surprise because I feel like this happens a lot of the time. Like they're always good in the beginning of the season, and
mm,
they might even get a high seed in the playoffs, but they never really figure it out because Dame can only
true,
do so much. But Simons is looking great. Same with
true,
Grant. I actually really like Nasir Little. I think he's a great role player for that team. But
true.
yeah. So Portland's also another team where I was like, oh, okay, like I got to keep my eye on that.
Yeah, true. No, definitely, definitely. So, I mean, really, yeah, I think those are really our hot takes and our biggest surprises. So, hey, we get to go to these two fun little games we got ready for y'all. So,
Oh yeah.
I think first,
Which one we
let
gonna start with?
let let's just do it because it's more of kind of like a thing. But if we had to pick our starting five right now,
Mhm.
and we picked this, I did this idea because we're both very homers here.
Shout out
So
Michael came up with this idea. Can't take credit for it. It was all Michael.
so we have to pick a starting five with current players right now that are born in the places that we're from. So I have to pick a starting five right now with current players that are born in Florida, and Brian has to pick a starting five that are born with players born currently still in like playing in the league right now in
In
the
New Jersey.
NBA and from New Jersey. So let's hear
How
your
do you
pick.
want to do this? Want to do my five or do it by position? What do you want to do?
Yeah, go by position. Go by position.
All right, point guard. I got Kyrie.
Okay. Okay. I
I'm
saw
not
that
a
coming.
Kyrie fan, but I got Kyrie's definitely one of the best hoopers to come out of Jersey. So who's your point guard?
My point guard is Anthony Simons.
Okay, I mean, no
Born in
disrespect,
born in Longwood.
no no disrespect to Anthony Simons. Um, but I think if we have Kyrie on the floor, I like my chances. But no, I like that Simons trade. I mean, that Simons at your point guard. I mean, he's as good as pretty much a lot of he's good. He's as good as anyone right now. You know what I mean? So it's
True.
impressive to see what he's doing. But yeah, no, I
True.
like that. Um, anything else you want to add or
No, I got Anthony Simons. I like Anthony Simons,
I
man,
like that
averaging
though.
20 on the Portland Trailblazers. So I'm pretty confident in that
How
pick.
I like that. Shooting guard, I got my boy Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson. Okay, okay.
Playing him at the two. I wasn't sure where to put Kyrie, where to put Jalen Brunson, but Brunson's a facilitator, so I like him playing the two. I don't know. I think that works out pretty well. But let me hear you.
Okay, my shooting guard. Well, hold on. Let me see who's taller. Because I'm gonna. Oof. Oof. Hold on. Because I might play some small ball on you. Because
Ooh.
I,
Ooh, I don't know
I
if you want to do that.
I might have to. I might
Okay.
have to. So my other guard is going to be Trey Man.
Trey Man. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. See, I like
Yeah.
that. I like
Okay.
that.
See, Trey Man, born in Gainesville. Born in
I,
Gainesville.
I like
So
that.
shout out Gainesville.
I like that.
Hmm.
He's for an average NBA fan might not know much about him. He went to Florida. I know. Okay,
Yeah.
see, doing his thing. I like that.
He's good, man. He's good on OKC, especially when he gets it going, man. Man
Yeah,
could drop 30 if he wants to. I like him. I like him on the
yeah,
Thunder.
that's good. So small forward, I got Jaren Jackson Jr. Hopefully he's healthy, but
Jaron Jackson Jr., your small forward.
yeah, I got a big team. Got a big team, Michael.
Jeez.
I'm telling
Okay.
you, you might not want to play small ball on this team.
I might have to. I'm gonna run y'all off the court, but my small forward is only 6'4", born in Tampa. My boy Jordan Clarkson.
I like that. Score
Yeah,
can pretty much get a bucket anywhere on the floor.
pretty much. I mean, Jaron Jackson could try to guard him, but I mean, he could
Hey,
probably
I
hold
got to
his
help
own.
defense though in the paint though.
Okay, all right. Who's your power forward? Who's your
Power
four
forward
spot?
is your boy Bam Adebayo.
Oh, jeez, you stink. I knew
No,
you were gonna pick that.
I had to, man.
Uh,
Defensively, defensive presence can score the ball offensively, stretch the floor. And
dang.
I like it, man. I like it a lot. Who's your four? Who's your four?
My four is the man in Toronto right now, coming out of West Palm Beach, Scotty Barnes.
Ooh, that's a good one. Barnes is one of the most underrated players in the league as well. I think.
I love Scotty Barnes, especially what he's doing with Toronto, man. Coming off a Rookie of the Year, I like my boy
I definitely.
Scotty Barnes.
I think your team gels well together, though. I will tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Hey man. Hey, that Florida blood runs deep. So like they could all go see each other like in the go play just like how ball is life playing at
Yeah.
some street ball playing at some court like maybe down in Orlando, maybe in Pensacola, some Tampa, maybe even like in Kissimmee. I'm saying places that you probably don't know, Bry, but these are places that
Hey, I know that's
there's
by
lots of.
Orlando, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I know my Florida geography.
There you go. There you go.
I've been to Orlando
So
a couple of times.
there you go. Hey man, it's the spot. It's the spot. Shout out to the 407.
Yeah,
But
407.
hey man. All right. So who do we got at the center position?
Center. Added some more shooting to this team. I'm not again
Okay.
being critical of him, but I got
Oh, I
Carl
know who
Anthony
you're gonna.
Towns.
Yeah, I figured.
Let me hear yours.
I'm gonna give a shout out for that pick. I'm gonna give a shout out to my cousin Liam.
Liam. Shout out Liam.
Liam actually went to a school. I don't. He'll probably tell me when he listens to this, but I don't remember if he went to the high school where Carl Anthony Towns was, or he was near the high school because he went to.
Oh, to Carl Anthony Towns you're talking about?
Yes, Carl Anthony Towns,
Okay, he
believe.
went to
Yeah.
St. Joe's, I think.
So I think he was there for a little
Maybe I could
bit.
be wrong.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's an
really?
all boys school, right?
I think so. I do believe
Yeah,
so.
it's an all boys school. Yeah, my cousin went to. I don't know if it was that same one, but there's another one that's close by. But I'm pretty sure he
There's a
did
St.
go
Joe's up
there.
by me, but there's also a St. Joe's down south, or
Yeah,
central, whatever. I don't really know where specifically, but
I
there's a
believe
couple.
so. Yeah. So
Um,
hey, that's a good pick. Hey, Carlton Tell. So you guys got some shooters. You got some big men. I
we got a
like it. You
big
guys are
lineup.
definitely big.
Got
So
guys who can score.
I mean, I have a big man that you're gonna like. I think I think we kind of talked about
Oh
this. I
yeah,
don't know,
yeah.
but coming out of Pensacola, your boy Mitchell Robinson,
I love that rim protector right there.
rim protector right there. He can hold his own.
He's gonna block Carl Anthony Towns 26 times. I like your team though. A lot of young guys,
Yeah,
but I think they mesh well. I think Simon is one of the most slept on players in the league, as we've said. But yeah, no, I this would be an interesting matchup. I think
I
my
would.
team's got Again, I might be a 4 and 5 if Kyrie
We
chooses to
should
play or
we
not.
should run like a simulation on
Yeah.
2K and see who
Hey,
wins.
time and place, man.
Right, right. We should do that. We should definitely do that. Maybe record it. Maybe we should play like blacktop on 2K and we play
Ooh.
with these players against each other and let's see, put it on like I don't know, like stream it or something,
Hey,
like
I'm the
for our
best 2K
podcast.
player in Morgantown. I'll tell you that.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
You want to
whoa.
go?
I don't know about all that. I'm
Hey,
crazy with the
hey,
sticks. I am
hey.
crazy with the
You give me
sticks.
Russell Westbrook, I'm giving you 40. I might be 20 for 46 from the field with him, but he's still getting 40.
You give me Tyler Hero and Gabe Vincent, I'm dropping 30
Okay.
each. And then if you
So
give me Jimmy Butler, I'm dropping 40 with a triple double. Come on now.
am I really? I'm gonna have to be one of the worst teams in the league to beat you. I'll be the Lakers, man.
Oh,
Straight.
how dare you? How dare you? How
Yeah.
dare
But
you?
I think
I'm
that's
always a homer. I always play with the Heat anyways on 2K. I can't pick it up. I can pick other teams and play with them, but I always just pick the
the
Heat.
Knicks are just a terrible 2K team. Not to go completely off topic. My 2K team this year, I don't know, man. I always like using Utah because I like Mitchell because you just dunk on everybody and Gobert would just block everybody. But obviously, they're not on the same team anymore. But hey, I like where your head's at, man. I like it. I like the confidence you get.
All right, man. So let's do this start bench cut. We have this
Going through
nice
each
little
position,
segment.
right?
We'll do each position. So, do you want to go first, or you want me to go first? I think let me go first. To do point guards because I had a quite little view on point guards when we
So are
were
you
doing our
asking me or
all.
I'm asking you?
You asked me start
All right.
bench cut 3 point guards.
I got Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry, or Mike Conley. And we're doing based on this season, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Dang,
yeah.
really? Those three?
Yeah.
Okay. I start Van Fleet, bench Lowry, cut Conley.
I'm honestly benching Conley and Lowry. But that's my hey, I'm asking you, so I respect your opinion.
Okay. Okay. No, I appreciate it. All right. Should I ask you some point guards?
Yeah, give me yours. Give me yours.
Okay. All right. Luca, Ja,
All right, you're doing this to
Damian
me.
Lillard. I
No
gotta
matter
do
what,
it
I'm
hard.
wrong. No matter what, I'm right. Luca, Ja. Okay, I'm starting Luca right off the bat.
Okay.
I'm benching Ja cutting Dame.
Oh, okay. I'd probably do the
Well,
same. I'd probably
no
start.
disrespect to Dame, but Ja's out of this world, man.
Yeah, I would start Jaw. I would still cut Dame. I'd start
Oh,
Jaw.
you'd bench
Bench
Luca?
Luca. I'd bench
Ooh,
Luca. I'd bench Luca.
I'd have to start Luca.
I'd start. Okay. All
Okay.
right. All right. Shooting guards. I'll go first since I asked you.
Yeah.
So shooting guards, we got Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brown, and um, who's another? OG Anobi because he's a shooting guard.
So we
Really?
got Brown,
Yeah.
Anunoby, and who was the third one?
And
Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell.
Okay. I'm gonna have to start Mitchell
Okay.
this season. Again, I at one point I thought Brown was a lot closer to Tatum than most people thought he was.
Mm.
Right now, I have to give it to Mitchell as much as you know me, not a volume shooter guy. But Mitchell, I'm benching Jalen Brown. I love Jalen Brown, one of my favorite players in the league. And then I'm cutting Anunoby. I think Anunoby, don't get me wrong, I think he's a great player. I just think he's a little step below, especially offensively, than the other two players.
Okay, okay. How about this though? How about this? Because I don't know why I didn't do this. I don't know why I said OG. I'm
Oh
saying off
God.
random. All right, take out OG. Put Devin Booker.
Oh my.
So you
All
have
right,
Donovan
so
Mitchell, Jalen Brown, and Devin Booker.
I'm starting Booker,
Okay.
benching Mitchell, cutting Jalen Brown, and that hurts me to say. This season alone, if you're gonna ask me last season, I'm starting Jalen Brown. I'm cutting Mitchell, benching Jalen Brown, but this season I got to start Booker.
I would start Mitchell, bench Jalen Brown, and cut
Cut
Booker.
D Book. Ooh,
I would. I'm
you
sorry. I
sure?
love Devin Booker, but no, yeah,
I just
definitely
think
over.
he's.
Yeah, I like Jalen Brown. I personally like Jalen Brown.
I love Jalen Brown. I'd have to give it to. It's. I feel like with these, it's hard to go wrong, but that's just my take. It hurts me. I love Jalen Brown. I think he's the best second option in the league.
Of course.
One of the best. Like, cause there's a couple, but yeah, that's my that's what I would say.
Sure,
Is there
sure.
anything else you want to add to that?
No, who do you got for me?
For shooting guards, correct? Oh yeah, my bad.
Yes.
My bad.
Yeah.
So for shooting guards, I got um, Okay, this one's I got Shea, Paul George, and Jimmy Butler.
A shooting guard?
Yeah.
I thought Jimmy Butler was a small forward. I put him
Oh,
at small
I thought
forward.
so. I had him at I don't know. I didn't. I just kind of threw him there because I think he plays a little bit of both. So I wasn't. All right. What if I get rid of Jimmy? I'll put in. I'll do Shea, PG, and D Buck.
Oh, I start shape bench Paul George cut book.
Okay. Yeah, that. I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I
You're really
put
making me
that
think. I
there.
think I let you down with these. But all right.
Okay.
Let-
All right, let's move to the small forward position.
All right.
We
My lead.
got
Yeah. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
no, ask me now. Ask me because I asked last time.
All right. I got Who do I got? Who do I got? All right. I got Tatum. I got Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James.
Start Tatum, bench Kevin Durant, cut LeBron.
Gotta make these harder for you, man.
I mean, if we're talking now, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
you're right. You're right.
it's just hard. Like now, yeah, I'm definitely cutting LeBron. I'm sorry, LeBron, but I love LeBron, and I know a lot of people are going to be shocked hearing that because how much I talk highly of LeBron, but
Yeah.
not right now. Sorry, not
All right.
definitely over Kevin Durant, and yeah.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it.
All right, how about you? Let's do Jimmy Butler. Mm, Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum, and Paul George.
Starting Tatum, benching
Oh, you
George.
know what? No. Not Paul George. Kawhi Leonard.
Okay, we repeat that three again.
So Jimmy Butler, um, Jason Tatum, or Kawhi Leonard.
Starting Jason, cutting, benching Jimmy, cutting Kawhi. Because Kawhi hasn't played.
True. Yeah.
You know, if he's healthy, I'm obviously playing Kawhi. But
I mean, especially with right now, yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense.
okay,
The four spot. I mean, you could ask me.
for power forward.
Power forward.
All right. Okay. I wanted to make this difficult, but okay. I got Siakam,
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Davis,
Uh,
and I'm trying to think who's. I don't know if he classifies as a power forward. I'm gonna just throw him in there. I gotta give respect, Julius Randle, even though you'll probably cut him, but I want to hear what you have.
yeah, I'm sorry. I'd cut Julius Randle, bench Anthony Davis, and start Siakam.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah. All right, how about this? Siakam, Giannis, and Anthony Davis.
Oh, start Giannis. Start Giannis, bench Siakam, cut AD.
Yeah, that's easy. Yeah,
Pretty
that's
simple.
pretty easy. It's pretty easy.
All right. So centers.
Centers, and then we're pretty much done.
All right. Well, okay. I did some low key centers. I didn't want to do everyone star studded,
Yeah, that's fair.
but I got Clint Capella, Brooke Lopez, and DeAndre Ayton.
Start Book Lopez, bench DeAndre Ayton, and cut Clint Capella.
Oh, really? Okay. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, because I feel like you'd still get the same type of thing with DeAndre Ayton more than Clint
Yeah,
Capella, and then Brooke
that's fair.
Lopez. I mean, you
Can
get
shoot.
a lot more than both of them.
I agree.
So yeah.
That's fair.
All right. So how about this? Bam Adebayo.
Mm-hmm.
Better be careful how you say this one.
Oh God.
Bam Adebayo, Karl Anthony Towns, and I'm just gonna throw it out there. Let's put Brooke Lopez in there.
Okay. No disrespect. I'm going to start off by cutting Brooke.
Oh wow. Okay.
I want to. I'm going to start Cat bench Bam.
Oh, you're crazy. Okay, but I see. I get it. I get
I,
it.
I
I
don't
would
know.
I would have started Cat. I actually, to be honest, you'd probably be shocked with this. I'd start Bam, cut Karl Anthony Towns, and bench
Wow.
Brooke
Okay.
Lopez.
Um, the only reason I have Cat is because he can shoot the three ball a little bit better, and without before the Gobert trade, he was probably the third best center in the league. Um, I'm gonna stick with it. It's pretty close,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, again, I've been critical of the T Wolves, but I would start Cat as of right now. I would start Cat. It's close though, but I'm rolling with Cat.
That's fair, man. Well, hey, we reached the ending, man.
Did it, man.
Finally, we did it. Have to go back now in the studio and make some edits here, but
For sure.
we definitely want to give a shout out to everyone that
Shout
definitely
out to
made some
everybody.
comments. Definitely
Leave
gave us
some
some
love.
nice little comments to talk about and everything, and some topics to talk about. But hey, man, to looking forward to episode 3, man. And
Yeah.
thanks, Brian, man. We doing
Yeah,
this, man.
for
We
sure.
doing this.
I gotta give a couple of shout outs. Some people got mad at me for not shouting them out, but shout out to the entire Fordham women's basketball team.
Yes,
They
yes, I
beat
love it.
Anna the Wolf. Listen, shout out Anna the Wolf. They're gonna get mad if I forget anybody else, but I mean Colleen listened, but shout out Colleen, I guess. Shout out Erin, my older sister. Hey mom. But yeah, no, I shout out. They were showing some love. I appreciate it. They were checking it out, giving me feedback means the world.
There you go.
Shout out to my boy RF, Alex Hayes, all the boys showing love. Dom, I can't thank you guys enough. It's only going up from here. I'm having a great time, Michael. I'm sure you are too.
No,
And,
most definitely.
Keep this going up. Hey, just because we're home doesn't mean we're gonna slack. We might be separated, Michael. I miss you. You know that.
I miss you too, my guy. I miss you too.
All good, man. I came right off. I was in the car for 8 hours. Came home, did the podcast with my boy Michael. No other way I'd want to spend my Thursday night. And stay tuned. More content gonna drop. As I said, we might have a surprise. Well, not surprise. I kind of said it. Might have our content editor, Andre the Bagging. Make sure you go check out his films by AD and IG. One more reminder: subscribe to our YouTube channel, Hoopin with Mike and Brian. Follow our IG, our Instagram at hoopin.mb and follow our Twitter, hoopin_MB. And I can't thank you guys enough for all the love and support.
No, for sure. Yeah, thanks to everybody. I mean, I'll give my shout outs next episode because I'll give one special shout out because they definitely. I'm gonna give a shout out to Darian Perez. He has another podcast for the love of the game, and he wrote me some notes down and definitely gave me some tips even for myself for this episode. So I'll definitely give a shout out to him. Please, if you guys definitely give support out to him. But yeah, thanks to everybody that watches this. The 100 and something views we had on our first episode is definitely a big milestone for us. Oh yeah, it meant the world, man. So any support that we get, even to put more emphasis on more content, we have like wanting even more content. Like we want to make the video, we want to do more with this. Like even the fact that we talked about playing 2K and streaming it, like that could be a possible idea. So
Yeah.
Hey man, we just have a lot of hopes for this and everything. And it just one other shout out I'll just say to my family, man. I love my family, all of them and everything. Shout out to my girlfriend and everything for she's definitely a big support here. So yeah, no, for sure. But hey man, this was a great episode, and hopefully people really enjoy this one.
For sure, man. For sure. Again, I want to back up that. Shout out to my family showing love and support. Keeping it a buck. Me and my dad have arguments about the NBA all the time. Keeps it a buck with me. If he thinks I'm wrong, he's gonna let me know. So just in general, if anyone has any feedback, feel free to let us know. And stay tuned. And as Michael says, Michael, you know what you gotta say.
Yes, sir. Everybody, just keep on hooping.
Just keep on hooping.
See y'all later.